wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So, as always, we're going to go through trading in the market. We're going to get right to that. I'm going to do a little bit of a rant beforehand, but we're going to give people a couple minutes just to mosey in here just a bit. But I see the market's gapping down a little bit, and there's some things that got people a little bit triggered. But I think it'll be a great opportunity to give you guys some nice media literacy lesson when it comes to the financial media and what it is and or is not what they're trying to do for you. So rant incoming, just FYI. But right off the bat, we can get in and just talk a little bit about what's going on here in the market. If I look at HIMS going up here, we have the S&P 500 gapping down a little bit, gapping down about 1%, with the Dow gapping down 0.5% here. And then we have the Qs gapping down 1.5%. But if we look at the daily chart, this will give us a better idea of kind of what we're doing. So we're at this price that we were a couple days ago. So the 27th of October. So I know there's a lot of people out there that kind of believe in gap fills. So this might be an area to watch where we've got one gap that we could potentially fill here. And then, of course, we have another gap that we could potentially fill here. And this, to me, is a little bit more interesting because this would line us up with these prior highs. And if we get into this kind of prior high zone, then that is an area that it makes more sense to potentially, pull back into. Right? There's a lot of people out there, bears especially, that are pounding the table that were down like 1 or 2% from all-time highs that I told you so, right, over and over and over again. Whereas they've kind of missed this whole rally, and now we're down a little bit of that. So the market goes up 59% and then pulls back, 2%? And people are starting to get a little bit worked up. So, there's some earnings came through. I'm sure we can just go through and talk. I'm not going to know too much about them, but not NVIDIA, but NVIDIA is down a little bit. It's leading the market, but we had Palantir, and this is what we'll talk about a little bit soon, where a lot of people are being lied to about a potential short that's taking place on NVIDIA. That is not at all true. And again, we'll get to that in a second. But we have Palantir down. We had HIMS report. That's gapping up here a little bit. Uber got smoked here. Right, so Uber's down to these lows. Again, lows not seen since the end of October, even though it's the beginning of November. So it's not that far away. But yeah, a little bit of a pullback here in this side of things. So we need to, what's going on there? Here, sorry, just moving some things around my screen here. There we go. That's a little better. There, all good. So we're getting a little bit of a pullback across some of these names that were a little bit stronger recently. Again, nothing really, even if we look at Palantir, yes, okay, we are down to this breakout zone. And this breakout zone, I think, gets interesting to me. If we're going to pull back to this level, this is just the area we broke out of, again, a week or so ago. So that's something that I go, okay, well, now this is an area that I could potentially focus on, maybe doing some buying in, something like that. Now, what am I talking about? I'm just making sure I got everything set up here. What am I talking about? About people lying to you? Well, the main thing, and I'm picking on StockTwits here, but I just did it because they had one of the most unlisted. There we go. Sorry. They were the most prominent about it. They were the loudest about it. And kind of, I feel like an old man here, but they're the one that I'm the most disappointed about. There's a couple people I'm kind of disappointed about. So if you haven't read this news, which is kind of complete and utter lies, they're saying that 80% of Michael Burry's portfolio is net short. So I want you guys to do something right away. Is anyone you're seeing that says this on your timeline, this is not a person that you want in your life, right? They don't know either. There's two things. Either they don't know that this is just phooey, or they do know and they're trying to scare you. One of the two, right? And all it took was a very quick Perplexity or ChatGPT ask about this to know that this was just the most amount of horse poop that I've seen in the financial media in a long time, which is saying something because it's the financial media, right? So if we take a look at what they're actually saying, and I'm actually going to do a little bit of an explainer. If I go here, oh, perfect. You're going to see something maybe cool. All right, so if I do that, oh, look at this. All right, so we're playing with this for a second. So let's talk about notional value of options for a second, because this is the thing that I think is getting everybody very confused about what happened. So we'll go over this pretty quickly. Let's just talk about what an option is, right? Let's say I have a $10 stock. Right? We have a $10 stock and I buy a put, one put, right? So I buy one put on a $10 stock. Now, options allow us to control a lot of capital, way more capital than a lot of people kind of think or know. It gets a lot of people in trouble with a lot of, trading options. It can be one of the biggest issues of trading options is they're leveraged. And that's a good thing. That's why people trade them, is because they're leveraged. So if I buy one put option of a $10 stock, every put option represents 100 shares. Okay, so I've got 100 shares of stock every time I buy a single option. So if we do 100 times 10, then I'm able to control $1,000 worth of stock by buying one put option on a $10 stock. That makes sense? Everyone with me? Everyone with me so far? So one put option on a $10 stock gives me $1,000 of controlling the stock. That is what we call the notional value of the stock. So I have control over $1,000 position. Now, if we go into what an option really is, an option is the ability to sell. So I would be able to sell someone the stock for $10. At any point before the expiration date, I can sell somebody the $10 stock. So obviously, I hope that this stock, say, goes to $5. Because if it goes to $5, I only need to buy, it did that for me. I only need to buy $500 worth. And then if I only need to buy $500 worth, then the $1,000 that I control is worth $500. So I've made $500, right? That's how options work. I buy a put option. I hope the stock goes down. I have bought one put, and that gives me control of $1,000 of this stock. Okay? I'm going to pause for a second, and people can let me know if they have any questions, because you can see I'm a little fired up anyway, because this is, I haven't seen such blatant misinformation since the last time that he did this, right? So this is our notional value we need to focus on, right? We are controlling with $10 and one put, we're controlling $1,000 worth of stock. Now, what do we have at risk? Do we have $1,000 at risk? No, right? We have at risk whatever we paid for the put option. Now, whatever we paid for the put option is going to be different based off when we bought it and when we sold it and all of these things. It's going to vary dramatically based off of the price that we paid. But let's say for this put option, let's say the put option was trading at $1. Again, we're making the math real simple. So for $1, we bought one put. So $1, one put. Now, because remember, we're controlling 100 shares of stock. In dollar terms, we really paid $100, right? Because we have 100 shares at $1. So 100 times 100 times 1 is obviously 100. So we're controlling, again, $1,000 worth of stock. That's our notional value. And we did that up here, right? One put, $1,000 of stock for $10. We're controlling $1,000 worth of stock, but only costs us $100 to do it. That's the power of options. And generally speaking, the premium you pay on the option is anywhere between 1 to, like, let's say 10% of the underlying security. So the world out there, again, StockTwits and all these guys are saying that Michael Burry is short 1.1 billion worth of this, 1.1 billion worth of Palantir and Nvidia. But they're quoting this notional value. He's not paid the notional value. He's not risking the notional value. He's not taking a bet on the notional value at all. What really is happening is he's paying this. So we obviously won't know for sure, but just a quick estimate here. Oh, 1 second, I got to change two things here. A quick estimate here, just from a Perplexity, because we never know what he's actually paying for these things, because I don't think he has to report them. But a quick estimate, I just said, hey, do an estimate based off the value at the time. And he's doing roughly 20 to 50 million worth. So let's say he's doing 30 million worth of it. So the media is trying to feed you that he is short $1 billion worth of these companies, 80% of the value of his company. In fact, he's shorting a tenth of that at max, probably a fifth of that, or even more, like a hundredth of that. So anywhere, again, between 20 and 50 million. So let's say he's doing 35 million. So the media is saying he's short $1 billion and he's really short 35 million. So like 0.3% of what they're trying to tell you. And then you look at the rest of his positions and he's wildly net long. Despite all the headlines about a $1.1 billion short bet, Michael Burry's portfolio is actually positioning overwhelmingly long. Overwhelmingly long. He bought healthcare, he bought Lululemon, he bought a lot of companies out there, and he took a little tiny hedge on a short bet on Palantir and Nvidia. So this guy, again, got famous for the big short, but he's really a value investor. He's kind of a Warren Buffett type, a Warren Buffett disciple. So all he's saying is, I think Palantir's a little bit overbought, and I think Lululemon's a little bit undervalued. And I'm just taking a bet on those two things. He's not betting that there's a giant bubble out there, or that there's a big crash, or he's not doing any of the stuff that people are trying to tell you. He actually bought more call options than he bought put options. He bought call options on Pfizer and Halliburton, for those who actually want to study these things. So again, not only is he buying the market and is bullish, the overall market, he is not very bearish, as people are saying. So it's a bit of an end rant there. Again, I would go through your Twitter timeline and just find everyone out there who said he's short 80% of his portfolio on Palantir, and anyone out there who's saying he's taking a $1 billion bet, and just get those people out of your life. Because there's two options. One, they don't know any better, in which case don't listen to them anyway. Or two, they do know better, and then they're just trying to fool you anyway. So again, I'm picking on StockTwits here because it was the tweet I responded to this morning. But a lot of them are doing it. I've seen even Walter Bloomberg had a quote. All of them are doing it. So now we go into Palantir and we say, yeah, so they did earnings and whatever, and they're down a little bit. So the question is, for this particular stock, I'm interested in where the price is, but also how many people woke up, fell for all of these influencers or CNBC and all these guys talking about it, who are either unintentionally wrong or knowingly wrong, and sold their Palantir. And is that going to be the screaming buy opportunity when these guys eventually wake up and go, wait a second, A, Michael Burry's wrong a lot, so I don't know why we listen to him anyway. And B, he took a 2% of his portfolio short. The other 98% he bought stuff, right? So maybe we take a look at something like Lulu. If you really like the guy, you should be buying Lulu. He took a way bigger position long Lulu than he did short Palantir and a lot of these other things. So short story, immediate story, this is all wrong, and you should just get out of your life the people who are saying this thing. Long story is we have perplexity now. So just ask it, right? When you see this stuff, say, is any of this actually real? And it should do a pretty good job of telling you that it's wrong.
Is it real?
It's fake. Whoa. No, it's definitely fake. You don't have to question that. It's all public.
Oh
The
man, I hear you. I hear you. You getting them, getting them.
well,
Hey,
it
the short
they
Palantir.
should know better.
That's not. It's not a bad idea though. At least I would say that maybe he didn't do it right. He's not exposed, but I like this trade, man.
Well, and the other thing to keep in mind too is all of this stuff you're looking at is 45 days delayed.
Yeah.
So he's probably covering right now. And he's probably laughing. Like, I would love it if you sit back and all of these news companies are publishing all of this BS on your behalf, and you're short, and then you're just covering into them saying, "Oh, I can't believe you fools believe these people." I needed to make a couple $1 million to, I wanted a new yacht or something. So I'm glad that there's people out there regurgitating this misinformation for me, and I just get to profit from it. That's how big I want to get on the internet.
All right, let's talk about the momentum dying out in the markets. The bears are roaring out there, and I think I'm joining them in, man. This is time for correction. I think the SPY is heading back towards kind of 655 to 650 area, put us back towards the trend line that I've been drawing for a long time. And I think we're going back towards the 50 moving average, that kind of action there. So looking for some declining action in Bitcoin, man. What a call on the biddy. As Bitcoin gaps, or the short Bitcoin gaps higher, and really now starting to show some real signs of Bitcoin breaking down here, and some negative action overnight, and definitely not looking good as Bitcoin. And down she goes, down goes Fraser, and now the market starting to play in on that action. So I think there's a lot of trades to be had today. Even like, let's say like a HUT trade, HUT, that just had good earnings, and what is it doing? It's going down. This is what you need to be looking for now. Now, good stocks that are having good earnings are going down. This is something new. This is not what we had in the prior environment. And now I think the environment's really changed here. It's no longer this euphoria in the market. They're trying to pop the bubble of 2025. So they're going bubble
Hopefully,
pop, man. And that's a
hopefully
good
they
thing.
can muster more than 2% lower, right?
Yeah, I see the SPY going like 5% down here. And then the key is it's rolling bear markets in these momentum names. And that's what you want to be looking at. Like names like USAR, they're down now, what? That's 66% down, right? Let's say QUBT from the top, right? 25. Even let's say the recent top in October, it's already down 36%, almost 40%. These are what you want to be looking at, the bear markets in those type of names. And that's what we're getting, right? The momentum has completely flipped. It's no longer there. The euphoria is dying out. And if you're in euphoria names, well, this is when you start to get wrecked, right? So there's a lot of downside here to play in. And I think that the bulls are definitely caught with the kind of the horns stuck in the wall here, and are going to have to either be patient and waiting, or just kind of not trade during this time. Pullback times are really how you give up kind of the easy money, and I feel like there was easy money in this recent rally, right? In October, we got up as high as like another 3 or 4% on the SPY. There was some easy money to be had. Now, the easy money, I think, and I said it a little bit a while ago, I think the easy money for the year has been done, and this is exactly what we're going towards. More of this choppy environment and momentum names coming down.
I don't know. I look at it and I say, okay, well, but people have been saying that for this pullback and this pullback and that pullback and this pullback here and this pullback over here and this one. So I just don't. I want to see more structure, right? What I want to see in order to kind of change my tune is some sort of failed bounce. Because right now, every time we sell off, all of these big names, they're beta. That's the point of beta, right? They're going to go up more than the market. They're going to go down more than the market. It's just kind of the way it works. What I want to see is, again, a bounce that fails, right? So we get some sort of push up and then pull down, some sort of change in trend. Because if you had been timed to short every time we pull back 3 or 4%, which is kind of what we're down now, then those have all been buying opportunities. So it's in my head, I'm just thinking, okay, well, what's different this time? Palantir, that's a relatively small company, is down a fair amount. Partly could be just because of all this kind of fake news that's going on out there.
I mean, Microsoft has
Could
been
be.
a really quick, 7-8% down. I mean, there's some things that are
I beta.
broken here, man. I mean, if you're stuck at the overall market, yeah, that's always gonna lag the action of these kind of more beta moves that are happening, right? And I just think it's just as simple as euphoria coming off. That's the difference between 2 or 3 weeks ago, where it was more of a caution sign going into mega tech that had a rally and that kept the market up and no longer is rallying. If you look at the big tech names, they're all on the pullback. Like maybe Tesla, the only one that's maybe holding in here. And boy, oh boy, if they don't pass Elon's payment plan today, that could be a disaster stock itself, right? Big headline risk in Tesla today. But that's if just to answer your question, like what's different, I would say that's the difference here versus what happened, let's say, even in the regional bank crisis, where in 1010 it was just one candle, but it really wasn't momentum names that had broken.
Well, and this last one was all about 100% tariffs on China, which seems like way more impactful than bad earnings from kind of one company. And so I go through and I look and I say, okay, well, Apple, right, let's look at the Mag 7, right? Apple's a couple percent here from highs. Microsoft, yeah, a little bit of a tumble, but it's just right back to where it was in the 22nd, so like 2 weeks ago. So then, right, Meta's the one that's really been kind of getting hammered here. Someone was talking about Netflix, right? Netflix down a little bit, but I don't know. It's like me as the trend trader, I have to say, if I had every time the market dipped, turned bearish, this would have been a real bad year. So I'm willing to say, okay, I'm going to buy this dip just like I bought all the other ones. And again, I know full well that one time I'll be wrong and one time I'll get slapped. But I just think it's a better bet in the long run in, screaming bull markets to buy dips than to sell into those dips, because you're shorting into the hole, I guess you could say. So I look at this and instead of saying what do I short, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, well, what's holding up, right? What do I buy? What sectors out there do I think are kind of the best bet? Because it takes one tweet from one guy and we are screaming back to highs when, I had the greatest conversation with the blah, 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 and away we go. That, and again, I'm really going to be watching Palantir today just because I think a lot of people got fooled by this number. So I've got this on the very basic, on our strategy of an undercut and rally. I just don't want to short the market when it's 3% from highs, because if you had done that all year, you just get kind of slapped over and over and over again, and you may have missed like one of the greatest bull markets of all time. So we'll see. But for me, I would just, again, all I'm looking for is give me a failed bounce. Give me, a sustained bounce from wherever we dig in, wherever the low is. This place is kind of reasonable. This, 672-ish. If we dig in there and we bounce and then we fail and then we start to roll over and make a new low, that's what happens. Because if you look at all of the tops of all of the bull markets in history, COVID was the only one that was kind of a straight line down, right? The rest of them are this topping process that takes weeks or months to kind of play out. This is why I think the word bubble can be scary to some people, because they think that means it's just going to pop and go. But it's one of those that generally speaking, a top is a kind of slow, kind of combined wave thing. So that's what I want is give me a bounce, have that bounce fail, and then we start to break some sort of key support because we're really still above where we broke out of in the last week of October, and we're in the first week of November. So I just need to see a little more blood than that.
Yeah, you'll continue to see it, especially overnight action. They don't want to let you in. They want to wash you out in the intraday right now, and that is the environment we're trading now. Talked about it on Trader TV. That's the environment we're in right now. The environment is what? Momentum breakdown, and now you're going to need mega tech to hold up here. If not, it could go further into correction. The truth is in the pudding. The trading isn't easy anymore, guys. And I think you got to tame your expectations and understand this, that during this time, they want to repeatedly stop you out and then send the stock overnight. So you got to be patient, lower size, and get outside of the liquidity traps. I got just stopped out like countless yesterday on FLNC. And what does it do today? It gaps down $2. The trade was perfect. I just kept trying to come after it with the adding sizing. And in this case, that is going to be the recipe that's going to get you out of a lot of trades right now. So you just got to be patient and maybe waiting overnight to get rewarded. That makes it what? Almost extremely difficult, almost impossible on the day trade side. So right now, if you're day trading and you're struggling, understand it's because of the market. It's not just because of you. It's also, there's going to be times like this where the market just takes back money. And you don't want to be that guy just giving back 3 months or 4 months of easy trading. This is why I think I'm such a proponent of being faster on the either, you don't necessarily need to go bearish here, but you definitely need to get on defense. If you haven't been on defense, you're doing it wrong now at this point. That's just the way that I feel, because that's what protects your capital, right? And that's what I think you need to be doing right now, especially if you had a good 3-4 months or maybe a good year. You know what I mean? I think this is the time to hold back the horses and really start to look to see either you're going back to cash or you're taking some period of time where you're letting the chop play out. That's just the way that I see the market. Hey, it's up to you guys if you guys want to kind of follow that, or it's up to you if you think that's the trade here. But I definitely think that it's also going to be hard to go after shorts now with stocks down 4%, 5% already. So what are you going to get? You're going to get chopped today. You're going to get an up move. You're going to get a down move. You're going to get an up move. You're going to get a down move. And then maybe towards the end of the day, you get a little bit more insight into what's going on here. So if anything, I'm talking about swings towards the close, using even overnight action as more of a proxy. And this is what we're getting, where we're starting to see earnings reports, stocks go down on good earnings reports. That's where things are different. So where stocks are going up, even on bad reports, they were going up. That's changed now. I think you got to keep looking to see more and more kind of AI disasters. You can look at names that have no fundamentals, like let's say SoundHound AI. There's no reason for this stock to be up at $20. This is an easy target for the short side, right? So you're looking for names like that just absolutely have no bottom line, actual revenue that's growing. Those are the names that I'd be looking for shorts here. And they're going to come after them fast. And it's going to be kind of vicious because they're trying to do like rolling bear markets here, guys. That's what I'd expect. 30, 40, 50% pullbacks. And then it's okay, because I think that we will have a nice like kind of Black Friday rally, right? And look for that, right? Look for maybe just 2 weeks of pullback. So if you're a bull here, it also could mean just to stay on the sideline, right? Just take it easy. Look for daily charts to actually show you strength again, and we'll see what happens. 9:30 is here, guys. Let's get after it. My opening trade is short lift, and boom, down she goes right out the gates. I will be trying to add to this trade, but down she goes. Let's go.
Yeah, so just looking here off the bat, we've got the SPY down 1%, the Dow down 0.6%. Watching here, Palantir, you saw me bring up Palantir, PLTU. Looking to see if we can get an undercut of the pre-market range and a move there, but looks like maybe not. Looks like we might be popping here just right out the gate, but I'd like to see just a little bit of a sell and then, some sort of revision from there. Going to keep a close eye here on the market. Of course, we have no real news that comes out, and there wasn't anything that was super crazy from the earnings front this morning. So we're just kind of in a wait and see mode. Do they just come in and buy the dip like they've been doing all year, or is this one that's a little bit more prolonged? For now, a little bit of a cut there on the first minute or so. And some buyers came in. Again, we're going to watch Palantir, and then we're going to watch some of the ones that reported earnings, right? Hims ripping here off the open, up 5% from yesterday. So great little trade there on Hims to the long side. Anyone who took that earnings. Palantir down about 7. It's at the price it was a couple weeks ago there. The daily chart, again, this one is really interested by kind of 190 here. So we'll see what happens as well, right? Netflix, someone was talking about. I don't really care about stock splits. I know some people get jazzed about them, but it doesn't do anything to the company, right? Some retail people that think the dollar value of a stock's important might get involved in your stock, but it's probably not the investor you really care too much about anyway. You don't want an investor base that's like, hey, I'm not going to trade this thing because it's $1,000. I'm only going to trade it because it's 100. It's like, well, the company hasn't changed at all by doing that. Some longs coming in here just from the bot. We got NVAX right off the bat here. A little bit of a sell. Geez, another one. Oh, this is short on EXAS. So trading some of these biotechs. EXAS Biopharma. Took a little short there and a little long in NVAX. And then I'm just waiting for a little bit more action to see if this Palantir. So far, right from the open, we've had a nice push up, a nice buy here on Palantir. So they're liking the price for now. Again, we got to remember that it is not the professionals that make the post-market action, right? You're not getting Goldman Sachs and all these big guys trading in the pre and post-market. There's not enough liquidity for them. It's going to be the big guys that come in when the market opens. That's why I'm really always interested in watching for the first little bit here.
Uber down to some more, looking for Lyft to really tumble now.
Yeah, Tesla selling just a bit. I see there's a news on Norwegian fund doing something. So we can keep an eye there. SPY.
Oh, AU tumbling gold, man. I talked about it yesterday. AU was a beautiful trade. And wow, right out the gates, gold down she goes. Through the daily support too. Yesterday it was at resistance. You could have used that 69. Now you're breaking towards 63 and 60. So really good look there on gold to the short side.
Yeah, looking here. So taking a look here at the SPY. Again, just want to mark the low, the pre-market low, and then this pre-market high. It just creates this. This is the range of what's happening this morning, and just see what's happening as well in this range. Again, I'm very for swings. Nothing really has been coming through from the swing side of things. Have had those 2-day trades that we've talked about again. NVAX to the long side there. That one's not really doing too much. And EXAS to the short side. And that one's paying just a little bit here right off the bat. So I like to see that. A couple bucks here, kind of right off the opening flush.
NEM coming down, seeing gold and a sea of red to start the day. Only thing in the green is defensive area. So you're looking maybe your Walmart, your Costco. Those are trades that I was looking at today. Walmart and Costco starting the day on the upside. So if you're looking for upside trade, that could maybe be a potential trade. But definitely seeing gold get hit there. NEM. Nice little bull trap out the gates. Down she goes. So definitely seeing the downside come in there, guys. Let's get after it. And definitely getting after some lift short here. Of course, Uber, just wicked action this morning. Just getting annihilated. So looking for that weakness to continue in lift. There's some good trades out there, guys. A lot of shorts right out the gates here. So, hey, just get after it. If your name's in the green, it could be that it just got too overexposed on the downside. So you got to be careful for those kind of down moves that are overly already to the downside. So wait for it. Hut, look at that trade. That was going to be on one of my top trades today. Missed the action because I've been in lift, but look at that down move. She goes. There goes Hut. The miners are a target for me. Clean Spark, all these names. Mara can all come down, and look at the downside she goes. This is the downside to crypto really quickly coming into play. So Biddy, look at the takeoff now towards 2015. So, hey, great action there on the Bitcoin short side of things. And wow, on Hut, man, this had good earnings and it's just dumping out the gates. Why are they dumping it out the gates? Because something has changed, guys. Momentum is broken. Perfect example on Hut today. Man, I wish I would have grabbed this trade right out the gates. It's one of those where it's like, now you're just chasing. Look at the downside, 50 to 46 in a hurry. It's like straight. This is called sell side. Remember when we talk about buy programs? This is a sell program. This is get me the hell out of Hut at any price possible.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of those systems, right? We know we'll trade the correlation versus crypto. And with crypto selling just a little bit, I think Bitcoin's down like 2% today. You're going to definitely get those moves. SPY trying to recover here, put in that little dip early. It's trying to recover higher. Palantir, again, I'm watching. I've got our little bot thing here turned on to see if it undercuts this pre-market low. Gets back through VWAP, I'll take a shot on that. But EXAS, I already took some profits on this one. It flushed here down to like 68. And then NVAX is the only other trade from the bot from the long side, and that one's digging in. So we got Berkshire Hathaway. He's up. Old Papa Buffett is not only up, but ripping here. So he holds a lot of small banks. He owns a lot of insurance companies, like that kind of thing could be doing well. And then, yeah, your value, your Coca-Colas, your Pepsis, that type of stuff. So he is doing fantastic. Just going through some of these sectors, right? Real estate is up today. We have the SPY again down about 1%, give or take. Man. And then, yeah, obviously getting hit worse is, we've got Bitcoin, XME, metals and mining, and then ARK, right? The old wealth destroyers back.
Oh, man, that was such a trade on Hut. I'm kind of annoyed I didn't grab that, but hey, it is what it is. Still watching the action here in some gold trades to the downside. So there's still more leakage out there. Even like Grail is starting to leak, and that was a momentum name starting to break the short term. This could be a target here on the short side today. So I'm just looking for bounces right back to the VWAP to get short on like a name like Grail, right? So it needs to be a momentum name, but boy, are they coming after it.
Bought some of this MGA, Magda International auto parts manufacturer. But yeah, a lot of my systems, again, I'm playing the market maker game. So a lot of long trades that are going to be coming on here.
Palantir down, guys. Palantir down right out the gates to 186. We'll see if it breaks that 186. That's the next level.
Yeah, this is the area that I'm watching. Is this kind of 190, right? This is
jumping.
We were there like 5 days ago. We were down here. And we're right there again. Is Magna? No, Hut. Yeah, Hut's Canadian, if that's what you're talking about, TAC.
Man. They're going after the quantum names. That QUBT took a huge hit out the gates there. So looking to see they're going after more names here.
Yeah. The companies that aren't companies
Mara.
are definitely having a bad time right here.
Clean Spark, Mara, those names just starting to get hit. So I'm looking for Hut. A bouncing Hut, but I need a pretty good significant bounce here. If it gets back to 50, I want it, but I just got to wait. You got to be patient here.
We're trying to reclaim VWAP here. We're trying to reclaim VWAP on the SPY. Struggling a little bit, taking a look at the Qs. Some good relative strength there, seeing in the Qs. And of course, our boy IWM is lagging just the way it happens as well, right? It's just our poor boy IWM is down 1.7% across there. A couple, again, longs coming in with, just looking here, some at MD. So there's a short, actually. MD just came through the system here. a medical group that's ripping higher, and then Palantir is potentially getting close to my trigger where it's trying to put in a little bit of a bounce here. Now, if this bounce fails, then that undercut and rally strategy is in the move right now, so we just have to kind of sidestep that. But really nothing from the news side of things. Ferrari CEO says business is good. So, hey, if you're in the market for a Ferrari, you're not alone. So it's the way it goes. So we're getting a little bit of a bounce here in Palantir. Let's just see what's happening here in just the
Every
overall
sector
market.
in the red from the
Bouncing.
open.
So the SPY bouncing almost back through the open here, down 1%, 1.1%. The Qs trying to get through the open here. Oh yeah, race. You're right. I forgot
Little
that
part of
Ferrari
me is
traded.
amazed that the market's not down further because literally every sector is red from the open.
Well, yeah, the market's still red from the open, but it's trying to get back through. Just got back through. So we're now up from the opening print. So we did that little undercut. We made it through the early pre-market low. So actually in 23 seconds, if I leave this chart up, you're going to see the indicator that me and Mitch are working on print a little green arrow, and that would be a buy trigger for the overall
Names
market.
that are doing well: Marvell, Shop,
Hooray. Canadian name.
Marriott, ARM getting a little bounce, AMD getting a little bounce there. So big tech is holding up right now in some of the names, but it's not your leader tech. Let's see Microsoft. That's what you want to see. Kind of if you're gonna get this to rally, remember if you're gonna hold it. Remember one of the big things I said is it has to be big tech here because it's not the momentum names, right? It's looking at what flight to quality.
SPY is looking to take, it's trying, just very important price action here. 677 is the pre-market high, and that's what we would need to see to get through and like hold through as well, right?
Name like Cardinal Health holding up in healthcare, CAH.
Good question. Do you think some of the smaller coins will hold through this drop? No, I think just like stocks, right? We always talk about the stock market goes up over time, but most stocks actually go down over time, right? Most stocks suck, and it's no different from cryptocurrency, right? You got your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your Solana. Those are probably going to be fine, whether or not there's a pullback or not. But some of these smaller names are going to go to zero or near zero. And it's just the way it works, right? Just it's a dog eat dog world, you could say, out there. So yeah, you saw that little green arrow come in live. So this would be just an interesting trade here for, and I'm just going to mark it out. I'm not taking this position, but on the S&P 500 here, let's see if we can do like a 1.5. And again, just the undercut of this pre-market support right here, and then a huge green candle just came through. So so far, we're seeing some amount of dip buying come in. No trigger here on Palantir. So now my trade is pretty simple. 2-minute close above VWAP on Palantir. I'm long with a low of the day stop. If we just roll over and fail here, then no dice. And this is something I'm taking in my personal account because what I want to do is I want to have this be a day trade that I can make a few bucks on and potentially hold this for a swing trade, assuming that this level here ends up holding, right? Because this is probably my favorite technical setup period, is a break of a resistance, a comeback and a retest of that resistance, and then like some amount of holding there, some amount of, okay, we're definitely seeing that, buyers come in, which obviously we haven't seen yet, right? Everything, we're seeing this bounce, but until proven otherwise, this is kind of dead catty, I guess is the simplest way to put it.
Yep. Expect early shorts trying to get squeezed out, right? That's what it's going to try to do here, guys. Remember, it's about playing small, not getting run over. That's what the market's going to do a lot. Try to make you overtrade right now.
Yes, and a lot of people, right, are going to have a little bit of PTSD from shorting in the hole all year, right? If you were a guy who every time the market tipped down, you sold your stocks and shorted, you're been crushed all year. So even if this is why I'm looking for that bounce to happen and then the bounce to fail to potentially turn my thinking, because there's been a very super easy pattern all year, which is buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. And so that people are going to try that again. And until those people fail, that's when I think you could see some sort of sustained chop or maybe even a downtrend. But, between then and there, who knows? So taking a look back here, and again, we're got to be laser focused here on the SPY because this is really the only thing that kind of matters right now. I touched that pre-market high. I'm going to move this over so it's out of the way here. Touched that pre-market high and coming back just a little bit from it. And again, I can go to the Forex factory, but I never know. Yeah, tentative. So yeah, nothing today with the government still shut down. And really, I think that's the only news that we need to hear. So when I'm watching my news feeds, I'm looking to see some resolution or plan for a resolution, or yes, we've figured out. I think the whole hang up is this ACA thing. I think that's why Steve's taking this YOLO Oscar thing he keeps talking about. And if we don't see that, then could just be more of a drag, because eventually you would imagine the government shutdown is going to matter. It hasn't yet, but jolts. Okay, so that's good. Even Walter Bloomberg saying, yeah, shut down because of government shutdown. So he's saying that the factory orders that were supposed to come out aren't, and the jolts job data is not coming out as well. So the only thing we have is the Ferrari, which thanks TAC for reminding me that this is an actual company that you can trade. I didn't, but if you had bought it when that news came out that the business is good, you're up a little bit from it. I don't know what kind of liquidity this thing has. No, I'm seeing $1 plus spreads on Ferrari, so I don't think it's the move. It's probably not the place that you want to be trading at then. Tesla trying to bounce, hitting VWAP. Microsoft trying to bounce, almost went through the opening price. Let's take a look around the horn, right? Meta is above its pre-market high, so some decent relative strength there in Meta. We now have the SPY down less than 1%, and even IWM down less than 1%. Relative outperformance in the small cap space, so might be a good place to take a look up as well. TM, I know, is Toyota. Yeah, Toyota's really illiquid, though. You got to be very, very careful with that one. A little bit of a pullback, so now this is the question. We poked just barely through, or maybe not even this pre-market high. Is that all they can get, or are we going to take another round, another shot at this pre-market high? Again, that's what I think is important here for the bulls. As we get through the pre-market high, that kind of shows everyone that it's not the end of the world. Right? Just some dude got misreported on. I would love, because in theory he can publish these reports whenever he wants. I think it'd be so hilarious if he published that he was out of these puts like the day after. It's just such a weird rule that like we make them report, but delayed. And so why?
For a reason, man. For a reason. To make noise.
Why? Like, yeah.
You got to understand, man. The markets are all about manipulating your mind.
Well, and this time, right?
It's pure manipulation, man. Because, like you said, it's late information that moves markets.
Well, it's late and bad. Like this, right? This still kind of triggers me. Like I'm buddies with Howard Lindzen. He's the CEO of StockTwits, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, this is get someone writing the news that understands notional value. Like,
yeah, the key there, man, is that you know how it is, man. It's all about
clickbait,
just click, man, and you got to understand what environment you're in. You're in an environment that's fighting for like views, right? That's what the financial media environment is. So
the financial entertainment complex is the.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah, someone's asking why RR is down. Don't know. I don't see any news. Just looks like this is a momentum name, and like Mitch was saying, a lot of these momentum names are having pullbacks right now.
That's just what it is, man. And also, what is it? There's not much there behind them.
And I know it doesn't feel like a pullback when it's 40%, but you got to remember, right? When you're looking at these names, they've gone. It's up like 400% on the year. So yeah, it's the nature of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, stocks are going to pull back, guys. If they do a 250% move up and they do a 40% or 50% move down, isn't that just fibs kind of playing in, right? It's just there's waves to this game, and we're not on the up wave anymore. I think we're on correction waves,
Yeah,
right?
if you want the upside volatility, you have to take the downside volatility, right? You can't have a
Oh
stock
yeah.
that doubles in a year and then be surprised when it goes down 30%, right? It's
Yep.
like Palantir is up even from the April lows. Palantir is up 210%. So it shouldn't shock anyone it's down 10% now. Like that's nothing. That's no big deal. It's going to pull back 10% all the time. It's just it's going to happen, right? So your question is always just needs to be, what's the thesis? And when you're buying something like this is why you'll see all the time that me and Mitch, when we're putting out stop losses, they're based on the volatility of the security. And you should always size yourself based off the volatility of the security. So whether you're long like, one share of a really volatile company or 100 shares of a really boring company, the amount that you're risking is the same. So right now, so this is one of those things that when people look to raise liquidity, like if I'm worried about the market, or even I think, a slight pullback is coming and I want to raise some cash, so I can buy things during that slight pullback. I'm not going to be selling the stocks that I think are going to be real good long term, like really safe companies, blah, blah, blah. I'm going for like the most speculative plays. And that's why when the SPY went down 3% that day, we had this huge liquidity event in crypto. Is because am I going to sell my S&P 500 or am I going to sell my fart coin to raise money to, then go buy more stocks, right? And that's what Mitch is saying. You have this ebb and flow of, when no one's ever looking to raise liquidity, quantum computers that don't exist can rip. If people are looking to have a little bit of cash to buy a dip, they're going to sell the quantum computer that doesn't exist first, right? They're going to
Yeah.
sell the Palantir that's like 700 times earnings or whatever the craziness is. It doesn't mean these companies are going to zero or anything. It just, again, if you're gonna celebrate 200% on the way up, you've got to be okay taking a 50% hit every now and then.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
It's part of the game. It's part of the game, and also I think it's part of learning the swing environment, right? Like so, like the truth is that swing game usually works, and then it gets really bad fast. And if you don't get out, I think that's how you give it back. You give it back. You need it sometimes, and I think it's okay sometimes just to go to neutral. I'm not playing short, but I'm not playing long. This is okay as a swing or day
Cash
trader.
is a position, and I love
Yeah,
that as
like
my cash is a position. Like,
it is, man, and I think too many times I saw a trader today on Twitter. He was like, "I'm not making money, and I keep taking trades. The ups don't work, down don't work."
stop
That's
taking trade.
just stop. It just go to neutral. Just don't trade.
If you really feel the bug, like if you're really itching, if you're that guy who's jonesing to trade, just size so ridiculously far down that you can't hurt yourself.
Yeah,
Like if you're normally trading 100
it,
shares,
man.
trade 10, right? Just go so far down and this is something I know a lot of people will do, even systematic traders,
Yeah.
they put like a moving average on their equity curve. So when their equity curve dips past a moving average, they size down their positions because they know their systems aren't working. And when it ticks back up through, they get back into the game. But yeah, it's hugely important here.
Look at FLNC today. I think it's a really important stock to look at, and this is the type of stock that you're going to see where the stock did what? If you were short yesterday and you didn't take your money, well, guess what? You get it right back at you, right? And so what it is that right now it's all about trying to stop you out.
This is smart. I start traders off with one share, and I would rather, to be honest, trade one share than to paper trade. That's just
Oh
personal
yeah, I
kind of
love the one
preference.
share
Like,
trading. One share
'cause
trading. Maybe
you get
two shares if you'd like to do half sales. But that's it.
yes. Well, and you get a better feel of actual fills, I think, if you do, as opposed to paper trading. And it's still real money. Like you
Oh
might
yeah.
only be making or losing like $5 in a day, but it's still real money, right? It's whereas with paper trading, it's one thing I always talk about. I love with Trade the Pool is that it's a demo account with benefits. So
Mhm.
it puts a little bit more pressure and a little bit more weight because you've spent, if you buy the 25K account, you spend $100. Now $100 isn't a ton of money, but you have some skin in the game to potentially lose. I think it's a better way to paper trade. And if you're one of those, if your strategy just kicks off and you do amazingly, then you have a benefit, right? You've got a benefit there. But just brought up the SPY here. We're ripping, right? We're only down 0.7%. We cracked through, spent about 15 minutes or so at that pre-market high, and then we're back through it. So on any pullback, this is the level that I'm watching on any kind of pullback. And if I take a look at just the sectors here, right, we're seeing water is doing up, but we have actually at XLF, we have financials that are green on the day. So we have that going well. And then we have healthcare that is a little bit red, but it's only down 0.3%. So this is really getting pulled down by big cap tech. And that's trying to bounce here with the XLK. It's trying to get through these highs. And then at the bottom, we still have Bitcoin just a little bit. Where is it here? WGMI is
Not
really
gonna
one
make
hit.
it easy, guys. There is a one stock breaking out. I have no idea if this is news related, but Hertz on the breakout here, guys. Really, really strong breakout.
I'm always shocked that because these guys went bankrupt, right?
Yeah,
And then
they
they
came
came
back.
back.
Ackman is what pretty much brought him back. His investment. So
Yeah.
here it goes. It's pushing,
Earnings.
guys.
Oh yeah, smoked earnings.
It is. It is doing
Wow.
well right now, guys. It had a nice little pullback there on the 15, reloaded at 570s, just made a move to 650s, and it is chugging along.
Made 3 times what they expected for earnings.
There you go.
So
That will do it.
huge beat. And then we have WGMI almost flat on the day, which is just wild. And WGMI, again, for those who don't know, is just it's a Bitcoin miners index. It's not, I don't recommend trading it because it's very liquid, but it's just a good sense. Now green on the day. So far, it's been a buy the dip morning. I'm just
Oh yeah.
watching the news. I'm not seeing anything here at all. Yeah, nothing here from the news side of things. My Palantir is working out pretty well. So there's the buy that I had there. So I'm just on the low of the day. And again, this is something I want to swing, but I will only swing if the day trade works out well. So what I want to see is I want to see us bounce into like the mid 190s. I'll probably take like 2/3 of the trade off. And that to me, it's like just a feelings thing because I don't take very many discretionary trades. You guys know I'm very systematic. And this is one that if I can get that move and I can take 2/3 off the table, then that last little trade that I have so much cushion on from the profit that I've taken that I can, take a deep breath and go, okay, now I can hold this for a period of time. And the game plan on this one is just pretty simple. If we're holding this kind of 185, 180, you can say just 180. If we're above 180, I want to be in this one to see if it pops back to 210 or 211. If we break that, then I'll move on. So what I'm going to sell is I'm going to sell enough that if we get under that 180, it's like a super tiny little haircut of a loss, right? So, but yeah, so far so good across the board. My MD, whatever this MD is losing money. This is the short that I took here. My EXAS, again, I got out of that one at a pretty good price. And then the bot picked up NVAX, which is doing well. And then what was it? MGA. I don't even know what an MGA is, but also picked up MGA, which is doing okay. So it was a good day to be a dip buyer, and I'm just kind of now just sitting, ready to go with my stop loss on Palantir at the low of the day, and then just whatever the bot wants to do for the rest of the day, I'm totally cool with.
Yeah, you're getting that bounce, right? Like I said, they're gonna wash you, man. If you chase right now, that's just not the recipe right now. And there it is. There's your attempt to get the shorts out And then guess what? I expect to see things come right back at you by the end of the day. So watch out there. If you're buying the dip too much, um, just it's gonna continue, man. And then the key also will watch for AMD. I think that's a big stock today to watch. It's gonna be up and down and moving all around. Of course, earnings tonight. So keep your eyes on that.
Mike, what do you do now that I have free time? I don't have any free time. What's that? I've got 2 kids and a business I run. I stream here. I shit post a lot on Twitter, if that if that counts. I like riling people up on the internet. But no free time. No free time here. The kids take a lot of it. ITB. That's what it's funny. The more systematic I get, and I had someone comment this on actually a buddy of mine was laughing. He's like, the more systematic you are, the less charts you post on Twitter and the more you just like rile up people and make them mad. I'm like, well, that's fun too, right? PLTR at new high of the day here. So again, give me 195-ish and I'll take a big chunk of that position off. And then give me 200 and I'll even take a bunch more off. And then I'll have a nice cushion for turning this into a swing trade and just kind of walking away from there. And let whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
I got a little bit short there of Hut. Let's go Hut. Blue 42. Set.
So Ethereum has curved a lot of its losses here, down only 1% on the day. Trying to bounce. Interesting place to put a bounce where these lows are. Bitcoin trying to bounce as well, but not getting as much of a lift. We look across the board here. We got Atom up 5%. Dog with hat is going well. So some of these meme coins,
Dog
Pepe
with hat.
Pepe's doing okay. What's
Dog
the
with hat.
Fart coins about even? Yeah, we're getting kind of across the board bounce. RSP, so your average large cap stock is only down 0.5% now. Again, it's big cap tech that's really weighing us. With XLF positive on the day, almost breaking through yesterday's high. And then we have XLV really trying here. So again, the biggest 3 parts of the S&P 500 are tech, healthcare, and finance. So we have finance and healthcare about even, and then we have XLK, which is tech. This is kind of the laggard here and is trying to bounce back up. So that's the one that we really need to participate. But the SPY pretty much after the first 2-3 minutes of the day was that buy and then a push. And look right there. So look at that green arrow, Mitch. That's from the algo we're building. That would have told us buy the SPY right there. I just put a 1.5 to 1 target on this because it's
The SPY, right?
I don't expect
You don't expect 6 to 1 on the SPY, right?
No, and that lines up a little bit under yesterday's low. So if we got there, that would be
if anything, you could always subjective at that low, right? And just take it. And these moves happen all the time. This is what I'm talking about too, right? This is like overnight action, panic. Stock comes back up to yesterday's action, right? Same thing we're going to be looking for in the charts. Look for yesterday's levels to reject if this is real bearish action, right? Not necessarily opening dump here, a bounce, and then hit down. They take out all the shorts that they can in the intraday. And if you weren't short yesterday at yesterday's levels, you get washed out, right? So they're trying to wash some traders, that's for sure.
5-cent spread on Palantir. That's good, right? On a percentage basis, that'd be like near nothing. Oh, we got a friend.
We got a friend. We got a visitor.
I didn't hear a bing, but
I didn't hear a
I
Bing
looked down.
either,
I saw a
but
buddy.
there he is. Now he's binging in my ear. All right, let's bring him in. The man himself, Kevin. The green team is here.
Hey, gentlemen, how are we doing? How's the morning been for you guys?
It's time for vacation.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, it's like
I'm
small
loving it.
caps have been kind of weak today, but there have been a few plays. These are defining days, it seems, at least for the
Go
small
Hurts
cap
in it,
guys.
man.
Yeah.
You Hurts in it? You Hurts?
Hertz I tried against 620, but then I stepped out of the way. I'm almost certain Hertz is they got a high short interest. Where's she at right now? Yeah, 650. Last I looked at this company, they had a very high short interest. I'm curious what they're at now. Do you guys know? I'm gonna take a look.
Let me do that for you, because I've got the FinViz, because I like that, again, the FinViz, because I've paid these guys. Well, no, sorry. They reached out to me, and they said, I saw you using our stuff. I have their elite thing. I didn't pay them for it, but what are we talking about? Hertz,
Okay. Yeah, HTZ.
I don't get the ads or anything anymore. Short interest. 18%, so it's not nothing. It's a fair
Yeah,
amount.
it's moving like it's got 18%. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
one in five shares shorts is pretty big.
What tells me that it's a real move is that CAR is moving with it. So you can look at CAR.
Well, and they just smoked, or like 200 or 300%. You can see here, they were expecting 3 cents earnings, and they got 12. That's big, right? They beat by a lot. They made $100 million more than people expected, but the fact that they only beat revenue by 3%, but killed earnings by 300% means there was some sort of cost cutting or something like that. So that's more of a real potential fundamental shift. They've done something that people are like, oh wow, you've cleaned up your business in some way that we expect you to potentially make more money going forward.
The TERN I like. Josh just brought that up.
Trend.
This is a day 2 play, so it's just
We got Kevin on the trend. He's gonna come in just angry,
turn
jacked,
taking
but
the
mad.
Oh boy. I mean, what? So yeah, I mean, I'm just trading the price action here. What's this company all about? What do you speak on, sir?
Pharmaceuticals. No, well, Trend is it's a steroid. So that was the joke, right? So Trend is like a
Get your
nasty,
local LA Fitness.
yeah, it's a nasty steroid. I had a buddy in high school that was on. And he was just you looked at him funny, and he just wanted to fight. It's not the one you want to mess with if you're messing with them.
Well, Hut is coming crashing down. Let's see if Hut goes down to the toilet today.
Yeah. By the way, I watched. It was a little bit of you guys last week. You had interviewed. I think it was Dr. Vanessa. Was that right? Is that right? And,
Yeah.
she said something, and when I was watching that back, that really struck with me. I was going to share with you guys. She said that to really, I guess, achieve any sort of really success in trading, there's a corridor that you have to go through, and that corridor is one of pain. And when she said that, I was like, well, that was fairly true with my journey, and I think it is with most as well. That pain
hit me in the heart right there.
Yeah, the pain. You gotta go through the pain. Gotta go. That's the only way we learn in those drawdowns and the pain.
Yeah.
Gold
Best motivation.
right now.
Right? But best motivation you can get as a trader is you get slapped a bit, right? You get slapped around a bit. You're going to be real motivated to figure out your strategy and if something changed and what that was and all that kind of stuff. So
Right. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, that was great. I enjoyed that interview, though. Good job.
Yeah, we'll be looking to have him back on and do more with them. It was interesting conversations for sure. Looking around, I do see the market kind of starting a little pullback. It's holding the 9 EMA. Look to see if you get VWAP attempts today. I think they're very important because if you don't pull back to the VWAP, well, guess what, guys? The market's just going to keep rattling, right? So you need to kind of chop up some of the longs now. The easiest would be to pull it back right now, because then you'll get some shorts in. You get some longs scared, right? So watch out for a little bit of a trappy action here on the SPY. I like the gold short, but I just missed it on AU there again at 64.69, coming right back down. AU is going to be one of those where, man, I'm going to look back and be a little mad I didn't get that swing in yesterday, because we would be looking really good. And with the action today, we could be holding up like $3, $4, $5 in the green. So AU definitely gold. I don't love gold moving forward.
Yeah, I wonder if we ever got back to this breakout point, that would be a screaming buy, but we're a huge way away from that.
I can see it going. I could see it going, Michael. I could see it, because
I would
the
back
thing
up
is,
the truck.
Michael, the thing is that there were so many people talking about gold. That's when you go and you sell it. When literally there's people at the money show saying they have a bot that will make you gold on the upside.
Yeah, I saw that. We got a
Handing
trading
out
bot.
handing out money. You know what that told me? Short gold. The top
Well,
was
and
near. The top
he's
was
like-
near. And gold can trend now for a long time on the downside. It doesn't need to just keep going up, right? It went double, right? There was just last year, because I'm a big Gold Rush fan, right? Big Gold Rush. I like that show. Been watching it for years and years. They were screaming about $2,000 an ounce gold. I could just imagine this show this year. They're going to be like, $4,000. What is going on? Right? I mean, they're going to be absolutely trying to dig every single piece of gold out of the ground, because at that price, you need to dig it now. It's not wait to 2 years from now where gold is back at 2,000. It's get it out now. So I can tell you, because I even had people asking me, like, where do I get gold? And, people were lining up at Costco, at the gold area to try to get gold bars. I was like, yeah, this is so the top, man. It's like the Uber thing, and they're just focused on gold.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, hey,
Reminiscent of the times with GME, right? Where it's like no one, all your family and friends who don't trade are like, "Is this a good time to buy?"
yeah.
Right. So,
What's so like? Why is everybody talking about gold? I got a question like
Yeah.
that from like an aunt, and I was like,
exactly. Yeah.
I think the part of it is always once you hear about it and it's everywhere, usually a topping sign.
Yeah, guys, saw this DTCK is a hangover chart. I like this against this yellow line here, previous close, 312. This is a very similar chart to Kaba yesterday, which was a hangover as well. Kaba, I'll show you that chart. This is just pattern recognition. Kaba, same exact pattern here. Overbought prior day, heavy against the previous clothesline. She snapped and started to see some profit taken. So I'd like to see that here today with DTCK. See some profit taking here soon against the previous close. That's my risk guide on it right now. Outside of that, SCNX was fairly well against the Magic 20s this morning. She's been heavy off of that level. The play that this morning, small cap traders, that PT, hang on, it was P something, PRLD. Oh my goodness, guys. Everybody safe on this? PRLD, it was zombie hour move yesterday. The liquidity sweep this morning,
Continuing.
couple million shares went through this morning, and then right thereafter on PRLD, and this was 3 million shares, by the way, guys. 3 million shares.
Nuts.
There was, yeah, some people got absolutely wrecked. Right thereafter, the company decided to come out with some news saying Prelude Therapeutics is going to pause the development of their cancer drug.
Oh no.
And yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, so it's been that's why this thing's just been pretty much on a straight down slope from here after they did got the liquidity that they were so desperate for. But I know some people were trading this with trade the pool and had stops set in pre-market, and they got hit. Again, you can set your stops in pre-market after hours with trade the pool, which is a huge benefit utilizing those just to protect yourself from, again, absolutely liquidated here at the top, max loss.
Yeah, that's right now stop limits. Just to reiterate, and you
Stop
can't,
limit.
you can't use the market side of things, but it is a big deal, and highly recommend putting those stop
Also,
limits in.
recommended to understand the alert system. The alert system can put in orders for you. So essentially, you could do an alert and trigger order. I don't know if you've checked this out, Kevin, but
No.
something you can look into. So the alerts themselves can actually be a trigger for an order. So that's more a little bit different, right? That's still you could do like a limit on an alerted move. So it hits the alert price, then it sends out a limit, right?
Yeah, so the same, pretty close to what a stop limit is, where
Mhm.
first this price has to get hit, and then it can set out a limit order, which again is a great idea to try to protect yourself, especially if you're a smaller trader. There's probably enough liquidity to get smacked somewhere. Just make sure you set your limit
yeah.
appropriately. I could see on that move someone setting their limit just like 10 cents above, and there's just no shot that you would get filled there. So you just got to be careful there. But yes, very much. And it's something that, what Mitch was talking about, those alerts things. As the market gets more and more 24 hours, that's going to be the way to trade, is using stop limits or limits for entry, and then having those, which we can do, that there's OCO orders attached to it. So you have your profit target, you have your stop loss. It's I think the only way to trade going forward, because unless you're going to be sitting there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which if you're going to do that, I would just say get a job somewhere else. You kind of miss the point of trading, which is supposed to be to allow you to have some type of freedom, right? And SPY new high of the day here on the SPY. Just FYI, we're continuing the grind. We have RSP, the average large cap stock, is only down 0.3%. We have the the Dow only down 0.2%, and the SPY is down 0.6%. So where's the IWM? There it is, 0.6% as well. So even the small caps are waking back up, and man, if the small caps can get going, anything can happen.
I need them to really wake up.
There ain't gonna wake up, man. This is a time when the money runs away from the small caps, man. That's just what happens, especially when momentum breaks. So you start to see Palantir, you start to see names like that drop 20, 30%. Do you really look at penny stocks? That's what happens. The money just deteriorates away from there.
Small caps, right? The IWM being at least profitable companies. You can also do, a lot of people don't know, but if you want to do it's the S&P 600. I wonder if there's an ETF for it. The S&P 600 is essentially the same as the IWM, the small caps, but instead of 2,000 names, only 600. And the reason for that is they actually put a profitability filter on it. So the S&P 600 is going to be smaller companies that are profitable, which means it's mostly regional banks when you get small companies that are still making money, because it removes a lot of the biotechs and things like that where, right, they're small companies trying to make money, but they're just not yet. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of my names, my swing trades are actually turning green today, which is good. And just a lesson here for swing trading is, right, the market's down 0.5%. If your stock is getting murdered when when the market's down 0.5% and down like 2% from all-time highs, it might not be the name, might not be the thing you want to hold for forever. Look at what I'm doing is I'm spending a lot of time here looking at my portfolio, and anything green right now is getting my interest because the market's still down 0.5%. And if it's green, that means it's a good name. There's some good relative strength there. People came to buy that early. That to me is very interesting. Whereas again, the other side of that, things that are just getting murdered, they're having a little bit of a hard time. And tax bring up Beyond Meat, is that still That's still a no. I was like, is there something? Is it a new surge here? Like, no, it's bleeding back down to
Right.
the netherworld.
Well, Pfizer, of course, earnings this morning and coming back for the 25 spot. This is massive. I've traded it plenty of times off this 25 spot.
Ooh, I
But
like that chart.
maybe there you go. And what do you see on this chart? You see 300 million shares between 24.50s, like pretty much 24.75 and 24. That's a big long. I'll tell you that right now. That ain't a short there. That's a
Big
long,
engulf right
getting
there.
ready to try to take as big as a position they can through this 25. So if there's a long out there to be had, I would think it's Pfizer. I'll take a shot on it through the swing account, but that's
like
that's
that.
about it. It's more like a swing approach there.
Well, you're getting a breakout of a pretty clear area, and you're getting so on in a engulfing candle, and you're getting some on weakness in the market, right? So you got a relative strength. You've got a nice daily candle. You've got a nice resistance breakout. You've got a super clean area for a stop, right? If this thing breaks, like 24 and a half or even 24 and a quarter, you're probably good to go there. And yeah, so I like it. I'm thinking about that as well. I bought some names. I bought some Palantir. I bought a couple of the names that the system just told me to buy, an APEI for a swing, American Public Education Company. I don't know, but it's breakout and then pulling back into this area right here. A couple of these names are really interesting, where again, show me stuff that's not getting killed. I don't want to get the stuff that's murdered, because with the SPY, now we're back through this zone. So this would be really interesting if we did, right, the S&P 500. So the reason I like this chart is because these daily candles include the overnight action. So this is the CFD on the S&P 500. So each of these candles, same as the SPY, except the daily candle includes the includes the overnight action. And we are seeing so many bottoming tails happening right here, assuming we close here today. So many bottoming tails happening in this kind of 6-8 area. And this, in theory, could just be another one where we sell off here. And if we end up closing above this zone, again, it's just a lot of dojis, which is just saying there's a lot of indecision going on here in the overall market. A lot of, I don't know what to do, so let's just kind of hang out for a bit. And yeah, I'm interested. Nice little rest and consolidation here now for 4 or 5 days.
You guys didn't go out to Hertz and get you a rental today on earnings?
Ooh-wee. Is that still ripping?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's finally having its first good size sell off. I say, good size. It's a slow mover, but pretty good move today on earnings.
That would have been an easy trade if you were in it too. Like, look, just never, even if you just did like a bar by bar stop, like just putting your stop at the low of a bar before it.
Yeah,
it would have been an easy one.
Let it ride, baby.
Yeah, Steph, I think that's a good idea, right? Because not only in talking about straddle, it's the idea is there you're selling volatility, right? Because it seems like every day we're getting shaken up by something, and then we kind of close the day right where we open it. So, all right, so you get an elevated VIX, which at least was elevated this morning. It's back to even now, but you get an elevated VIX, and then those straddles become really interesting, where all you want is for the market not to move very much. You don't care if it moves up a little bit or if it moves down a little bit. And as that volatility gets crushed, anyone who opened that trade on the open here is probably exiting it right now, because it was just such a great little trade for that one. So that's an interesting play. I'm not smart enough to do options just yet. I will get into that at some point. I want to add that too. I like having a lot of these directional systems, and then maybe mixing that up with selling directional, like delta neutral directionless options. I think that's a really cool way to come up with some uncorrelated potential alpha.
I like options. I mean, again, learning how to use them, that's the key. Don't go, a lot of people just, they see it as, ooh, and I'm like, oh, yeah, you're going to lose a lot in a hurry.
Well, and I think we learned today, I did an epic rant before Mitch got in. I'm like, I'm taking this opportunity by myself. I full screened. I brought out the iPad. I was like drawing shit for people because that whole Michael Burry is short 80% of his portfolio
Yeah.
kind of complete
saw you
lie
posting,
that
yeah.
was going around for people like trying to trick people who don't understand options to like be scared. That's just more evidence of why if you're going to trade them, you got to learn them, because it shows that CNBC and StockTwits and like a lot of these news places don't understand options, and that he didn't short $1 billion worth of Palantir. He shorted like a couple million. Zero news from Walter. All I'm seeing, zero. I'm not going to say the stuff that he's tweeting, but I guess Trump's kind of going a little crazy about there's a election in New York or something.
Oh yeah.
But no market related news that I see here at all.
Beyond confused.
Josh, what have you been trading this morning? Anything I've missed?
Hertz was nice. Yeah, there wasn't really a lot for small caps today. Again, it's like we talked about. You're just getting your 30-40% movers. You know, we move away from, like, Mitch was talking about. I know we're not going to get this time of the year, but we had it for so long too. You had September and October. We had hundreds and hundreds of percent movers. Even at the money show, we were still seeing that. And slowly but surely, you're going to get a relaxed period, which makes sense where it's coming from in the large cap space now. But yeah, it's just a slower day. Just relax, for the most part. It's been that way for the past couple of weeks. But Hertz is nice. Hertz was nice today. I'm looking at CIFR. This was yesterday, another play for some of my traders. I missed it, but a play yesterday on my Discord, traders killed this. Of course, CR Trader loves trading the top, and that was a good short up there, as that just ran back on down.
It's approaching those levels again. Yeah, CIFR.
That's the only thing I'm looking at right now is that play, CIFR. That's about it. Hertz made its good move up, leaving it alone, but that's about it. Hertz and CIFR for the small cap space for me. I guess CIFR is more of a mid cap play, but I still think of it as smaller just because, of course, I trade stocks like Meta and NVDA, and I'm looking at $100 tickers every day. So 24 seems so whittle. That's it. What about you, boss? What were your hangover plays? I know I was looking for some today. We didn't seem like we had too many of them. Did you get any good ones today?
No, there really weren't many.
Good.
I mean,
good to know that. I'm starting to notice that because I talked about that on my morning alerts in my live stream. I was like, I'm not seeing many hangover plays. Had a couple of them yesterday, but not really so much today.
Do you recall yesterday's?
I can't really at this point. I have to go back to my morning alerts. Yeah, I forgot what it was.
Yeah,
It was a good one right out of the gate there. I think some traders took. HKD. HKD was the one slow and steady.
Yep. HKD was great. Yep.
I was like, what was that? Another one I know. It was like today we have a 3-letter H ticker with HTZ, but that just goes from like Friday we had the runner. Let's go back and just show you HKD here and what we're looking at here. I mean, I'm sure maybe Kevin already went over it, but you get a runner. You at least get a runner. We're not getting this today. A stock going from like in market anyway and holding up for a while. So then you come over here and this is one we noticed yesterday. I said, let's get this back up above 3. Maybe we can test it into 330s. I doubt we get this little 315 sandwich area, as I call it. Old what support becomes what new resistance. I call those sandwiches, baby. Give me a sandwich. Well, we didn't get up that high. But we had 1, 2, 3 beautiful fills at 385, and then she just died on off exactly like you get the hangovers, baby. You just hang them on and you hang on over. But that was a good one yesterday for sure. I liked HKD yesterday. That's it, right?
There were, I think, CMBM was one too. That one faded all day.
Oh yeah, CMBM. I forgot about that one. Yeah, that's one. You have to go back, the day before and remember those plays. Essentially. And then, there you go. Yeah, see, this is just put those lines, trade them.
That HKD really brings me back, man. I don't know if you guys were trading then, but this is one of those where you scroll back on the chart.
I actually walked that play up, no lie, to 500 because this was after 2020. I was live streaming the day and like, how are you getting these levels? Like, I'm like, hey, and I remember saying after 500, I have no idea. I've never seen this before.
It was.
But 2020 was so crazy. 2020 we didn't have HKDs, but we had many HKDs. We had those. We had a lot of QMs in 2020. So when HKD came around, I was like, I'm prepared for 200 or 300. Once we get up above that, it kind of gets a little crazy. And that play That's no reverse split team. That is a true
Yeah.
move.
Usually when you look at something like this, you're like, oh, this is one of those that's reverse split it over. It's like, no, that actually it IPO'd, and there was something going on with the float that it was like tied up somewhere or something. So there was really like 1,000 shares in the float, but you were able to short like way more because right, it was like locked up. It was like a really weird. It was almost like an accounting bug that caused this, and traders just ripped it. And this is the same time GameStop was dying, and everyone's like, if you're looking for a short squeeze, it's happening. This is what is it's going on. Just like leave your GameStop cult for just a minute and come over. And yeah, this one just went up from like $13 to what is like 3,000 or something at the high. It was 27,000% gain in like a couple weeks, and then just boom, just bled right back down. But yeah, this was like a weird float thing that was going on, that where anyone could just continue to kind of play that Ponzi musical chair game kind of over and over again, and it just worked great for a while until it didn't.
Well, that was one I'll never forget watching on the live stream. Just kind of my mind blown, like everyone else's, and yeah. And then there were people, of course, trapped in it, and they get that it had that second move up, as you can see there on that run to like 300 or 350 or whatever, and everyone's like, oh, it's going back up, and I'm like, no, it's not. Like no, it's not, and and then those same people probably held until that next pop, to 50, and then they're like, oh, there we go again, like we always talk about. It's funny, and
yeah, just bag holders all the way down now. There's some guy who owns this in the high, is over 1,000, and he's still sitting here, and on every pop he's saying, well, it just needs to get back to 1,000, and then I'm break even. I'm gonna get out. Dude, take the tax write-off, my man. Just take that tax write-off.
Oh man, yeah, it's when you, like you said, when you see those, it's usually you think reverse split. It's been split so many times, price split. No, that is a true move right there. That was a fun one.
Dude, you guys don't see what's moving? Star.
Oh, it's back again. I thought Hulk beat him up enough times. He was done. He says, "I'm back from the dead."
What the hell happened on that yesterday? Why was it at 689 and then it went down to 3? What happened there, boys? Explain me that one.
$540 million from ARK Invest and others to build
good
a
Lord.
coin. Jeez,
Bringing back the blockchain strategies.
Yeah.
Arky Ark. What are you doing?
See, I find it's like ARK Invest, DRW, Kraken, and others. Like those are some like legit names. Like Kraken is like I think the 3rd or 4th largest crypto exchange in the world. Like that's sad. Just be a real company that does things. And even the king, the king of the crypto treasury thing has been just killing it. Like you take this chart, and he's down 45% from just this high, and down 54% from all-time highs. And then you just compare that with what happens if I just held Bitcoin. I'm down 15%. Like, so I could either just buy Bitcoin and be down 15%, which is nothing for a drawdown on Bitcoin, or I could buy these leveraged instruments and be down like 50-60%. Just so yeah, I think he's done the old MicroStrategy. I'm waiting for I will be, if I wake up in the morning and I hear that MicroStrategy has gone under and has to liquidate his Bitcoin, I am going to the bank and I'm taking a second mortgage out of my house and buying Bitcoin. And you guys think I'm joking, but I will vlog the whole thing, because that will be the moment. If this guy has to force liquidate, that will push Bitcoin down like below 50K, and I'm just going to buy. I'll take the double mortgage payment for a while. I'm just going to buy a bunch and just sit on it for 10 years and just deal with it, because it will be it will be the best buying opportunity, I think, in Bitcoin that we'll ever see again.
Be nice to happen. I missed out. I never got a piece of it. Every time it came down, I was always of course, I'm day trading. I only have so many, equity, only so much capital, etc.
Right.
So, I gotta have a specific price.
Get on the swing, baby.
Yeah, when it dipped down to 12, 11K, I wanted 9K, 10K. I'm like, dude, you could have had it at 12 or 13, whatever it went down. It's like, you idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I got to where the specific. It has to be a certain price.
What about that guy that had like hundreds of them on a hard drive that was lost in some dump
did you
site?
hear he finally gave up his search officially?
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, this guy had like it would have been billions of dollars at this point of Bitcoin on a hard drive because he was mining it in like university before it was popular, and then the laptop got thrown out. So he put a bounty out because if he knew if anyone could find this laptop, there's literally billions of dollars of cryptocurrency sitting. That's the only place where he knew where his key was. So it was like a bounty. So these people were digging with excavators trying to figure out how deep they were in the trash pile based off things that they were finding. And years later, he eventually just said, enough. It's over. I have to
move on.
Accept defeat on that one.
Accept defeat, man.
Yeah, that's a big defeat now.
Yeah, I know there's a hard drive somewhere with like $300 worth of when it was at like 3,000, but I mean, there's probably a good amount there too. That's lost also. That was when we were trying to get some shipments on the
It'd be like 10K now, right?
dark
I'm doing my
web,
math
baby.
right.
The dark web, Silk Road, baby.
Oh, and he's free now, hey? The Silk Road guy.
Yeah,
he got a pardon a while ago.
I got on it back when I was in high school, and boy, oh boy, that opened my eyes to a lot of things. Let's just say that much of how the world really works. It's crazy. It was absolutely insanity. You could have got a rocket launcher sent to your house.
Oh yeah, that's actually probably one of the tamer things.
Yeah. That's the stuff that I'm allowed to say.
I just immediately think of Grand Theft Auto when I think of that. I was like, oh man,
imagine. Yeah, dude, just imagine a rocket launcher showing up at your door.
You're like, oh, I can have one of these. Like poof, here it is. Oh man, like that game is just too ridiculous. I think people have turned too much to playing video games into real life sometimes.
Hey, get ready for it. It's gonna get even more next year.
I'm ready for 6,
Grand
baby.
Theft Auto, baby, comes out.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready. I love that. It's my
big move. That's why Take-Two has had such a great year. They're front running that move. That move's going to be sell the news for sure. Take-Two, it's just been going up all year long, and it ain't because they're bringing out new games. It's because the game's coming next year.
I'm seeing November 6th sometime. Tax asking when the Tesla vote is. I thought it was today.
It is today.
I'm reading the 6th. You know when?
At what time?
Yeah. I just Googled what time. I can't.
That's what AI is for, right?
That's what. Yeah, I asked Perplexity. It keeps asking me what the Tesla shareholder. Oh, maybe I should just. That's probably my problem. Elon pay package.
Yeah, that's all you gotta look at.
Gotta look at.
I think it might be after the bell. That's
Traders Ruby just opened up. It's a small cap play right now. Yep. Ruby 170s. She's at. I got 211s the 50-day, 220s. If we look left here is an area of some resistance, ceiling of resistance around the 220s, monitoring around that. I don't see any news here other than in September they filed an offering for up to 15 million shares of common stock. So that's all I got. If you guys got any news there, let me know. It looks like it hasn't halted quite yet again, but likely we go from halt to halt here.
Oh, they must submit their votes by 11:59 Eastern time on Wednesday, November 15th. So they have till the end of the day to put it in.
We will see what happens. Put it this way. It's very binary here.
Yeah. So basically, because they have until midnight tonight, it's not gonna play out today. It will likely play out tonight, overnight tonight to tomorrow. So you won't be able to trade it directly.
3 halts up there for Ruby. Definitely should see a sell off coming up soon here. So we'll see if we get filled here. I like that same area.
Ruby
in the sky with time. And I just went and looked actually back at Take-Two and that ticker. I was like, let me go look back when the last Grand Theft Auto came out and literally just correlating Take-Two right after 2013 was when the last game came out. It exploded from around the $18 mark. Of course, now where it went to, but in the years after that, slowly but surely, man, that was a tick. I just go back now in time, if instead of me, if I correlate where I'm at now with where I, in the game, like, man, I would be like, man, go back in time and get some Take Two stock around $15, $16.
That's it, man.
Be sitting on that for the rest of my life. That's all right. I still got some Amazon at 93, so did okay there.
Hey, can't get them all. But you can definitely
Try to catch them all.
I didn't even know it was a ticker until recently. The Take Two. I was like, oh, they have a stock. Oh, 2K because they own. I didn't realize they own 2K. They own 2K Sports, and they own the Rockstar stuff. So and like you said, it's just pretty much like not many games. It's Grand Theft Auto and the sports games.
SPY not wanting to come back to VWAP, telling sign, right? They're still trying to squeeze out shorts here, guys. So the key is if you're trying to get short, just be careful doing it too early. Even I got 30 positions on, and I feel like I'm still too early. So I'm just trying to stay small enough to hang out here. But this is how they're going to do it, guys. Overnight action is the move right now. So intraday action is tough trading.
So yeah, just more follow up to this Tesla thing. So I guess the votes are counted live at Tesla's factory in Texas tomorrow.
Ooh.
So it will.
Frisco?
So it might be an actual Tesla's gigafactory in Texas is what it's saying.
Yes.
So it's going to be counted like kind of live. Now the question is, I bet you it's one of those things where you can literally count like 3 people, and the rest of it doesn't really matter. Right? It's whether or not you're voting for Elon's share package, it's irrelevant. So you're going to be voting Elon shares, and then probably a handful. Because the news that kind of pushed it down off the open today was there was a Norwegian fund that publicly stated they're not going to vote for it. So I don't know how much these guys hold or whether or not it's relevant, but that's what we're seeing. So again, for me, I think the most interesting chart that I'm still looking at is the S&P 500, but on this, I'm kind of obsessed with this chart right now. Where is it? Doing the CFD contract, where again, you're seeing, so to reiterate, these candles are showing all post-market action, right? So they're from kind of 9, they shut down for an hour. So it's 5 Eastern to 6 Eastern, they're closed, but then they're open the rest of the time, which is, again, why I like these. And to me, it just looks like indecision. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dojis in a row. And dojis, again, just price opens, closes where it opens, and it does a little bit up and it does a little bit down. So, cutting down all the noise, it just seems like we are desperately confused on what the next thing. And it also could be, let's get some excess out of the system, right? Let's burn some shorts, let's burn some longs, let's kind of burn everyone, and then it consolidates for a bit, and then maybe it can go. But so far, just looking at this candle, is a huge wick down and then pop back up. But every time we kind of get below this price right here, at least for the last 4 or 5 sessions, there's been buyers. So are we going to continue to see that, right? And I hate that the CTFC isn't publishing its positioning data, so I don't know what the net positioning is anymore for the S&P 500, right? It could be.
You don't think that's done on purpose?
Could be. I don't know.
They've
been short the whole time, but I doubt they shut down the entire government to protect a couple traders.
Well, I don't think it'd be the couple traders. I think it'd be the couple ones that have a couple billions, right? But
yeah.
Hey, the tinfoil is big in this house, man. What can I say?
The important, I think, is we tapped the breakout perfectly, and as soon as we tapped that breakout to the tick, we just started ripping after that all day. So it came right to that prior breakout. So anyone who shorted against this level, makes sense that they would want to cover there. Anyone who missed this breakout the first time, kind of makes sense that they would buy there. So it just, again, it does make sense to me that is the area that we ripped. And that's where we're seeing, again, in Palantir as well. So I took that 2/3 of the position as per the plan I laid out off of Palantir when we were up in kind of the 94s. And so that was a great day trade. And again, I can just show you the day trade was just buying it right here through VWAP. And now I get to hold that last little bit as a potential swing trade to see if that was just a little bit of an overextended low on a bunch of lies that the media were telling you about Michael Burry being short $1 billion worth when he's short like 10 million. And yeah, so now I just get to play against that low. So if we break 180, it's time to go on this trade. And it will be like a flat trade to a very, very small haircut. And then if we start to grind higher again, it's not a huge position. But, if I can make 10% or 20% on this tiny position, then it's still a great trade.
Mm-hmm.
Like the entry area. Very nice.
I always say if you took all my systems away, you took all my back tests, you took everything away, and you say, okay, you're now a discretionary technical trader, Michael. This would be it. Just find me a clean area of support or resistance that gets broken, and then price comes back to it. And that's it's you're trend following. You're also dip buying. It's low risk. It's low return. It's very simple. You're going to have a 50-50 win rate, but every now and then you're going to get things that tap that area and just rip. And a couple of those a year make your year, right?
That is true. All right, guys. 10:45, and the market is starting to get dull, and pullbacks are starting to happen. I think it's time to choppy chop out there. Look at Tesla. Let's see if it free falls to the 450 spot before the vote. I think they could wash it a little bit before the vote, so watch for that to be some leading to the downside action coming back in. So I don't think they're going to make it just as easy, right? They're going to flush it right back too. So get ready for the chop. I don't think this is going to be an easy action to the upside today. Something tells me look for hourly supports yesterday to act as resistance. So all we're doing is essentially coming back to yesterday's ranges. So watch out there. We'll see what happens. And the Hertz just keeps on hurting those shorts. But we'll see what happens there. Can it get above 7? I'd like the 720 short there on Hertz. That doesn't seem too bad, Kevin. We'll see if we get it.
I think there's still a liquidity move to happen there. Similar to the PRLD this morning, there's 18% short interest. Is stair-steppy right now. Once we get that little flick, maybe perhaps up to that 720 you're talking about, well, I think it'll provide an entry. We got to be careful. I've experienced pain, as Dr. Vanessa was speaking on, trying to get in front of these, that corridor and front side. So
yeah,
I'd like to wait, patiently snipe this when we do see that swipe. So I agree.
So one telling side can be that big volume, right? Going through it, big seller, immediate action off of that, right? So that's the kind of action that you're looking for. That's why it's so important to tape read, right? And kind of read for that, especially if you're a subjective trader trying to determine things off of what you're seeing, right?
Right.
So what happened to Ruby, man?
Ruby is halted down. Too many halts.
It's not.
I'm gonna get it. Yeah, it's gonna gap down now.
You gotta be careful with these trades too, right? Because there's certain rules that are not gonna allow you in on a trade like this.
The 1 minute, it's difficult.
Yeah. There's that 1 minute rule with the volume is gonna pretty much limit you on this trade. So I wouldn't even look at Ruby, just because if it's gonna cancel the trade, why even take the risk, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So just look at something like Hertz. It's a little bit more liquid today. That could be something you trade today. So that's the thing too, right? You got to remember there's certain rules that will hold you back in certain plays, and you got to catch those. What about Turn? TERN. That still looks good here. What do you guys think?
I'm seeing another leg up for sure. I bet this by Friday could be up in the 2250 mark, 25s. Yeah, it looks good there on the daily. I do like Turn. No turntable, baby.
Turn. TERN.
Yeah, stair-steppy there as well. So that's
got a long off of it yesterday. Actually took a short on it earlier. It did cut me out of a short, but it was after on the move down. Thought we'd get some more continuation. Thought the day could be the top. I was wrong. So Was wrong on that trade. It's all good. Got the win yesterday. Win was bigger than the loss, which is great. That's what you want to keep. Gotta have that
what matters, man.
baby. But yeah, no, but it got me early. But so yeah, I see this. Yeah, you look on the daily turn. Looks like I keep calling it turntable. It's not going to turn over. It's going to turn from turntable, and then it's going to turn to turnover, my friend. Oh, he fumbled. Oh, it's butt fumble, baby, and I'm going to get the turnover, and then yeah, we're going to get a good short. We're going to get a good short on it. So I think it's still those bullish for the next day or two for sure.
Okay. And it could provide a nice hangover here too over the next day or two. You ride it on up,
it's
and then
turn to turnoverville, baby. She's gonna turn over. It's gonna turn over. Patience on this one. That's why I'm gonna keep it on watch. It's definitely one for traders, and it's slower. It's got the last 2 days. It did this yesterday in pre-market. Into the opening bell today. It did it again. So you get these nice, good $2-3 moves. Now you're up in a way you haven't been in for a while. This is definitely going to turn into a good hangover when it turns into a good turnover.
CIFR hit some resistance, have been pulling back in. CR Trader, I saw you got that one. Great work. I watched your interview with Mr. AK as well. That was excellent. Love to see that.
That looks like a good short on that. I have no idea why Cypher is even up on the day.
Yeah, I saw that. I had it up from yesterday and it's just popping right back on up again. So yesterday, same thing, just kind of getting that move liquidation up to that little sweep area. And here goes Hurt, still squeezing, hurting some shorts. Looking to pop a new high day.
Let's get through the 720 area and then start to see it come back through 7, right? Backside, right? So one of the things you want to see also is look how it keeps playing with the 9 EMA. So you got to short-term moving averages are still staying with it. Wait for that first real wash, right? So you're still holding on well. Another sign can be CAR, right? CAR. Look for that to see if it keeps going. If it breaks 140, yeah, you probably don't want to be short in Hertz. But CAR holding well.
Oh, on HCZ, we got some bags. We got some bags in this thing on up here, 750s to 850s.
Exactly. That's the daily area. Trend line comes into play right around that 712 to 750 area. So
I'm with you on this. Want to see what it's going to do. It almost
feels that one. That was a big back in the day.
Yeah. That was April, and it almost is going to gravitate towards the whole dollar, guys. It's going to gravitate towards these levels and maybe break up through this where a lot of the liquidity is likely going to be, and then we're going to monitor it like Money Mitch said, over under. Oftentimes that's how my stops are, like over under certain areas. To see if we can just get that upper wick, pull right back under.
Or if it's really starting to drop for me, guys, that might be one that I add to here as it's dropping fast. I got this, so that's looking good on the short side of things. The shorts, the bears.
Oh man, CIFR. This play has been excellent. CIFR.
Yep, nice little move back on down. Like we talked about, called it out. Good call there, too. You alerted it. I had that up as well, and you alerted it first there, Kev. So good alert there as well, and I followed up with it because it was definitely a money mover. Like the way that was moving right up to that area of yesterday. Kind of like going back to Nas was saying there about finding your key, support, resistance, supply, demand zones. I mean, just find the touches. The more touches, the better. I mean, going back to that PLTR, that old resistance becomes new support. I mean, that's why it's so simple. That's literally what I traded for the first 2 years, 3 years of my journey, was just finding those over and over and over. Because that's, being your own, just like, saying discretionary trader. That's what I could find. It was just simple. It was easy. Was it very profitable and banking? And I was making the mega bucks? No, but I knew if I could snowball that and I'd be in the game for 2-3 years, count me in. It's like I've always said, I know I wasn't going to be Steph Curry. I knew I wasn't going to be, Kevin Durant or LeBron James or, of course, my old school greats like Kobe and MJ. I knew that. I was like, I don't know. I'll look up to them, and I'd love to be Kobe and MJ, and especially that mentality. So let me just take that mentality and let me just get on the bench. If I can just be on the bench and on the team with these guys, I got a future. I can maybe make an all-star game here and there. Maybe I can be all pro one year. But it's just simple.
Eventually, and most traders never get to the point in which they never get profitable, period. They never get a setup that makes them money and they can make money consistently, period, right? So, you're right. It's going to be a 50-50 win rate strategy. It's going to have a decent risk reward, so it's going to make decent money in the long run. But then after that, it's just sizing. And, with trade the pool and prop firms and even outside money, you can take a very simple basic strategy and make a crap ton on it in the long run if you're just get the if you just become amazing at it, right? And just go from there. And then once you have that strategy set and that's making you money and it's consistently doing, even if it's just a little bits of money, it's a base hit strategy. Well, that's great, right? That's your I'm gonna feed myself, right, with this strategy. And then what you do is you try to develop another strategy that maybe doesn't trigger as often, but you can really kind of smack the doors off it when it happens. And adding those things together is great. So yeah, I never I always get people look at it and say, oh yeah, but this isn't, this strategy's not going to make me 200% a year. It's like, okay, well, who cares, right? Like, first get profitable, get something that makes you any amount of money, and then size that up over time using, again, just your own money or using whatever. So you can size that up over time so that it's enough that you're kind of comfortable and you're now
You
a
have to
professional trader.
reframe your state of mind. You got to reframe the state of mind. I want to share with you some of these results I saw from over 100,000 traders over at Top Step. You'll like this. Over 100,000 traders. The amount that get funded over here, 12.4%. The amount that get paid out after funded, 3.5%. The amount that they actually go live with these traders, 0.1%. 96 traders out of 100,000 that they actually went live with. So the odds, guys, stacked against you. But ultimately, it comes down to your frame of mind when doing this. Like Nas is saying, it's finding a setup that works and that it works well for you. That makes sense to you, right? That makes sense. That you can actually take to its full advantage. Like
Biddy taking off. We're starting to see that leak, guys. Leak's coming in now.
Ruby opened up as well. That one halted back down. Halt up, halt down, halt up, halt down. CIFR is under 23, looking great. And HTZ may that one may be done there after that 696. We'll monitor. Double topped up there 698 and pulled back kind of hard off that level, so we'll monitor that. But yeah, traders, just to wrap that up right there. I mean, trading's difficult. Don't make it more difficult for yourself, right? By having random different trading styles, random sizing. It's that all equals random results over time. It's just going to be random results, and that's what I see probably as most traders' mistakes. It's just so random every single day. There's in that scarcity loop of the dopamine rush, and every day they're looking for just something different, and keeping it boring as boring as possible with your style, setup, edge is what's going to give you the longevity.
Come in and hit singles. And then, as you get more and more capital, those singles that you're making $20 on today will be $200 a day on later, which will be $2,000 later than that, which will be $20,000, and it's just the way it goes. The amount of money you make is literally just a component of your position size, right? And this is one thing that I wish I learned a long time ago. As I became an old man and had a lot more money to trade with, it gets a lot easier. You just need to not have those insane goals, right? The I'm going to make 1,000% a year because some dude told me online it's possible. It's like, it's possible. It's not like I always look at Renaissance. So Renaissance Capital is by far the greatest hedge fund of all time, without a shadow of a doubt. No one's ever gotten anywhere close to them. It's like 40-50% a year. And again, the best of the best of the best of the best. No one's ever come anywhere near them. And they're making 40-50% a year. So, if you think you're going to come in, you're going to make thousands% a year. It's like, okay, well, good luck.
Gold washing here. So another move there down for gold. GLD stands out to me. AU still on the low. So that could just start to follow there. You can also go after JNUG if you want to see gold.
Hertz. Come on, Hertz. Oh, man, Hertz is getting Hertzy. This thing is selling on off here, guys. Considering pulling the money Mitch sizing into it.
Doesn't seem bad. I think you could get maybe a 675 bounce here. But other than that, you got some multiple tops there.
Yeah, we got VWAP right below on that one. You also have the pre-market high, both sitting around 640 or so.
Yeah,
So that's a bit of a
675.
wall. SPY never got back to VWAP just yet, putting in a little bit of a bounce. It also never got back to the pre-market high. So just be a little cautious there. The Dow's holding up much stronger than everything, and the Qs are the one kind of leading the charge down. So we still have XLF holding. Like, this chart on XLF is awesome, and again, just showing that it's really one sector that's holding us back. So financials are doing great, right? They're just down a little. That's actually a really good looking chart. Little bull flag there on financials. And I know that's boring until I tell you there's something called FAS and FAZ, which is triple leveraged versions of these. So if you really want to go nuts and you think this is a bull flag on financials, that's one way to do it. And then we have healthcare XLV, which is also positive on the day. So you have finance, again, the SPY, most of the SPY, it's like 55% is tech, healthcare, and financials. And healthcare and financials are up. It's just tech that's kind of weighing us down. So we got to keep an eye on what's going on there in the tech space, because it's on Palantir, because I'm in my Palantir, and it's actually holding up at and near highs of the day. So let's take a look. It's NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is the ones hitting lows here. So the semis are probably the ones. Yeah, the semis are kind of the dog of the space, with NVIDIA being the worst of that, hitting lows of the day. Well, most everything is doing as well, right? Yeah, and KRE, tax talking about regional banks, those are doing phenomenal. Full disclosure, I still do have. I remember I bought. I think it was on this day we were in Florida all together, and I bought DPST on that day. I remember right near the close, and then a little bit the next day. So sold a little bit when we moved higher, but I'm just kind of keeping some, and I'm just leaning against this low, right? It closed below this low, and I'm out, just because last time this happened, last couple times, it was great bounces across a lot of these plays, right? 150% on DPST, 155% here, and another 150% gain. So you just kind of buy the regional banks. If you can grab a good price on them, it's great. And seeing XLF doing fine as well. So XLF is above yesterday's high and looking great, again, from an intraday chart here. Financials are doing great.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us, at least for Michael and I. We'll see you guys, of course, tomorrow and continue battling. Time to let the boys take control. So have a good one out there, guys. Stay safe in this market.
dudes.
Stay
Appreciate
safe.
you. Yeah.
Y'all have a good day. Good day. Have a good Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. Always have to have a little Mexican on Tuesdays myself, my man.
No, you can't go wrong with it. Can't go wrong with it.
Enchiladas, some burritos, chimichangas, some salsa, some guac, some queso. I mean, yeah,
I'm getting hungry. I'll see you later, man. Yeah,
man.
this morning's been a little. These are defining days for me. Like for me, these mornings, like, I gotta slow down and go the speed limit. Because in my setups, like the hangovers we discussed, there's not a ton out there,
Right.
And we've gone over this in the small cap series, which you guys are going to see here soon, which is going pretty much the speed limit of the market, and they're defining days. If you're going for it when the speed limit's 35, it's going to have repercussions on your account. Yeah.
I mean, like Nas was just saying about base hits. I mean, they are base hits, but like bunts, you got to think of that sometimes, when you're like, I'll take a bunt. It may not be the prettiest way to get on base, but it's effective, it can drive guys home, get you a run sometimes, get you over the hump, get you someone on base, so you got to think of things like that. And that's how I was always a sports guy. A lot of, guys are Jay Webb, what's up, Tack, Derek, Thomas, all of us watch sports and kind of, I've always been a good analogizer, and in my brain to analogize, to accept the analogy of what it is, and not just, that's an analogy, I like that, but actually use that analogy and understanding that I am in a bunt situation or I am in a base hit situation and taking that to my advantage. And I remember 20-cent tacos. Wow, that's back in the day. I think the cheapest I ever saw, I'll never forget, back in the day, going to Taco Bell, or it was at Taco Bell in the mall. My mom always loved going to get Taco Bell back in the day. Our mall had, the little food court. 50, I can't remember if you guys remember, maybe a little bit older. Soft tacos and the crunchy tacos were They were 10 cents apart. That one was always more expensive is my point. Which one was it? I can't remember. But I remember I want to say 59 cents and 69 cents was the cheapest tacos I ever remember seeing back in the day. But oh yeah, love me some food. I actually got stuff picking up groceries. Doing enchiladas tonight, my friend. That's why I brought up enchiladas. Enchiladas. Oh, yeah, doing some enchiladas, some white queso, some salsa, some creamy jalapeno dip, some black beans, some cerveza. It's going to be a good night tonight, my friend. Got the Broncos with the great win on Sunday. Razorback basketball team, which I love. I love college basketball. It's so fun. I love March Madness. Razorbacks had their first game last night. Put a beat down on the team that they play. Of course, they always start playing someone, some chump team. They should beat them up, but good. And then tonight you just chill. No sports on. World Series is over, so I'm sure there's some kind of sports on, but. What's your favorite sports? I love it. So I think mine's still NFL because I have so much passion for the Broncos. Second is a tie with college football, college basketball. Those are my top three. What's your go-to?
Oh man, it's out there, man. Unpopular probably here, but UFC I really enjoy. Been watching that.
That's huge. UFC is great. I used to not like it as much, but boxing's gotten so dull over the years to where I like some UFC. And there are certain fighters on both sides that I've loved over the years. And love to watch fight, even on the girls' side. Like I loved Holly Holm. I loved when I couldn't stand Ronda Rousey and her personality. And when Holly Holm knocked her upside or just kicked that round, oh my god, that was so cool. I was like, whoa. Well, and it's a heck of a fight. It's really cool to even watch the women fight too. I'm like, these girls, bro, they throw us around.
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah, it'd be over. Yeah. James, the stats I was going over earlier, they were for Top Step. But yeah, it makes sense to me.
Not surprising though. That wasn't surprising, especially on Top Step. But yeah, that's probably though what it is. Probably pretty close across the board, even on brokerages and such.
Yeah. Well, you got to get out of the mindset, the frame of mind that we were discussing earlier, as far as like these are just evals, just go for it. You got to get out of that frame of thinking and start taking a more disciplined approach with it. If you want to be successful in this space, man, you have got to be disciplined. You've got to put on good risk management, and you have to put on consistency to compound that over time. Outside of that, guys, it's not going to happen. There's just fundamentals here. There's universal truths that are going to have to apply to your account if you want to make it. It's not, again, a popular conversation, but it's a profitable conversation. So it's talking about that, Mr. Josh, we'll bring it over to you. What you looking at? Anything going on right now?
Yeah, no, I was looking at Ruby in the Sky with diamonds, and just then it started doing the Halt Fest, and as soon as that happened, which I was like, maybe it'll slow down and we can get a short on it if it kind of then slows down and starts matriculating that 220 area, and it just not hurts. I'm leaving alone. I wouldn't mind it up into that 720 area that you guys, were talking about for a slow move back on down. But the one thing you have to talk, with Hertz, I've talked about this before. It did it earlier this year. And it's just one of those things that you see the huge volume days, and on these big volume days, and it did it earlier this year. It's done it in years past where it gets this kind of multi-day continuation move up. And so that's the one thing I'm worried about is that do we get that again today? But you can see exactly what Money Mitch and what Kevin were talking about here in the 720, 730, 750 area. Very strong old support resistance mark, especially right into that 745.50 area. Like it, and that's if you're looking for a reversal, that's it. So just slow and steady. Did have this little uptrend channel, little micro guy that was forming. I was keeping my eye on. I knew it would not hold that. It's just too tight to hold this tight of an uptrend channel. We'll keep these lines in to see if we respect them again, since we did respect them for a good 30 minutes or so. And it's also I love seeing where the resistance here is once support. The support area was once resistance. So again, I'll leave these in for X amount of time after we crack or break out of them to see if we respect them once more. And maybe it comes to where we don't. So I just get rid of them, and maybe we do. So I'll leave them in for the time being. Do I trade them? No. I just go back to say, like I was going over in my live stream earlier and in my one-on-one, build the chart. Show me the chart. Kind of going back to Jerry Maguire and Tom Cruise. Show me the money. I want to get a t-shirt that's me, almost like your live stream with the sunglasses on, you got whatever. And I want to put, show me the chart. And it's a picture of me saying, show me the chart, and it says, show me the chart on there. And it's got like a cool little chart on it, whatever, And speaking of the reason this says AMF, this is an homage to my father, Mr. Tommy Smith, the outlaw Tommy Smith. He was a morning show host here in radio for the long time, and a big saying he had for the longest time that they had was AMF, and it means Adi. And then it would be like when guys would call into the show, they would say AMF brother. They would leave, like, hey Tommy, what's up, man? They'd have a topic. It was a really caller driven show, which was kind of old school, which I really like that. When you hear that, when you have a lot of callers call in, if you have a topic for the day, like our call-in show we'll do on Thursday, kind of reminds me of that, which I love. And you get feedback from human. It is really cool in the interaction. But they, all right, AMF brother. We're in the South, so they got a little redneck, little twang to it, and they'd always say AMF. AMF meant adios, mother. You can finish.
Fill it in.
Adios. Yeah. So that was I don't know who came up with it. I have to ask Dad today. It's his birthday though. So today it's his birthday. So definitely gonna go see Pops. Paying a little.
You guys are playing golf, right?
Yeah, I want to see if he wants to go out and play a little golf. I wouldn't mind. It's really beautiful out today. I don't know if he wants to get out and play. I hope he does. And go drive the cart around for me. But yeah, he used to play all the time. Really doesn't get out and play too much anymore. Really enjoying the retired life. Not doing too much, really. But yeah, so his birthday. Then I think Mom and Dad are doing. I don't know if they're doing something for dinner. I may join them, but I've got stuff to do, enchiladas. So we'll see with Avery. We'll see what Dad's going to do. But got a lot of college teams. So we got UConn. Sorry, baby. UConn, love UConn. They were fun. Of course, Jay Webb. We know it's Alabama all day for you. Derek Thompson likes baseball. That's old. Now that's all. See, I think that would be more of the unpopular choice now. Would be if you would have said baseball. And I thought you were going to go that or hockey when you said an unpopular choice. But I thought I remember you in the past saying you do like UFC. It's like, no, I would honestly put, if they had to go list, I would go football's biggest in America, then basketball. I would almost want to say, you as an overall like sport, like watch viewership, I would almost say third would probably be UFC and fighting, whether it's boxing and added in, overall fighting. But point being, baseball, would it be that or baseball? Because then golf, it really has taken a plummet since Tiger's been gone. No offense, but who watches hockey? I watch it, but it's more of a, like, it's more of a northern thing, or you live in that city, it's anyway.
Yeah, did you see all the fraudulent like activity going on with the basketball as far as throwing games essentially or certain
the refs or whatever?
Bets. Yeah, that came over to the UFC apparently too. There's some fighters under investigation.
So players are better. Yeah, so I know I think it was, I don't know if it's all sports or they're talking about NFL, but I did see something to where it seems like they're trying to get it to where players, I think maybe it was NFL, but where players can, I don't know, maybe it's all across anyway, but where players can bet, the players that are active can actually still bet, and they can make that legal. I listen. It's going to be what it is. I just don't know why it's just not. It hasn't been legal already. Like people are going to find a way to.
Ruby.
I mean, I know we knew Ruby was going to dump off there. Yeah, and that's what I like about this team. Would be finding this defined resistance at that 190 mark coming back, and then it's kind of.
We called the 215. Would have thrown the feeler out there, but she didn't really give us she didn't really give us time.
We knew it was going to happen though. You get 3 halts up, you're out of nowhere like this on no news. You're probably going to get 3 halts down in a row, and there's your 3 halts down in a row. That was nice.
Yeah, CIFR here, the double top. So the psychology behind this, traders, we'll go over this because when these present themselves, it's good to maximize your the opportunity, not maximize your leverage, as some gurus would say. Maximize this opportunity. Right. CIFR. So, for example, why are double tops the way they are? And how this works, Josh, too, with the gap fill strategies that some traders mention, that has to happen over a period of time. Like I've some traders have said, look, this has got a gap to fill, but it literally like tanked yesterday. It's like no. This needs like 6 months to a year to develop. Yeah. Because again, if you just made this move, if it made a move yesterday like CIFR did, and then look, you're going to have long stuck up there. It's the psychology of it. But then additionally to that, look at what this CIFR did when it tapped 25 yesterday. It gave back like 3.5, 4.5 points. And so when longs see that, what are they going to think? Not only do you have longs in this likely here, but if the longs are in that, what creates this double top? It's the psychology of it. When this thing approaches that level again, you have longs that are saying, you know what, this thing gave 4.5 points back after hitting this level. I may, not want to I may want to take profit and not be involved in this too long. Take profits when I have it. And that's what it creates. And the shorts see it too. So additionally, you have multiple, variables of selling pressure that are coming into that name at that level. And it created this beautiful, even little sell off here today on CIFR. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and then James said sometimes it is 3 or 4 halts up. Oh, and it is too. And usually what I look at, James, if you're trading that and it does get halty, what I would do, like when I had Cobra or a different broker where you could trade within halts, real quickly and effectively, it would be watching for that second halt down. Usually you'll get the continuation down. So you'll get, your halts up, you'll get some halts up and down. You could see the reset from earlier, where you get that kind of reset on Ruby where it kind of resets. But I usually wait for that second halt down because you'll get, and I love when you see gaps. Gap ups are going to lead to gap downs, especially when they're as big as they were. So you just wait for that second halt down, and then you get in. You try to get in right as you get that second big red candle into the halt down. So right now, Ruby at worst, you would have been filled around 145. Right here on that second halt down. Look how much green is. You get the gap down, so you're going to instantaneously be green. You'll come up and usually tap that area. This is my halt strategy, right? Halt strategy. You're going to come down, tap it, come down, tap it, come down, tap it. Oh, come up, tap it. So regardless, you're going to get another gap down here. It's going to come up, tap it, and probably reverse down for a little bit more. So you're going to end up being in around 145 and out in the 110s, somewhere in there, 105 to 115, I bet. Pretty darn good trade. But that's what, and of course, the more you go up, then the same thing, you get more profit on the way down. But again, it kind of goes like when Michael earlier was saying, your profit all, of course, really just comes relative to your share size. And I talk to traders all the time, when they first start, they need to go small anyway and learn their effectiveness and find their edge, go 50 shares, 30 shares, 10 shares, 100 shares at most, something like that. And know that profit that they're seeing then eventually will become larger as they're getting more effective with their, their edge, and they can trust themselves and they're going larger now with 500 shares, 1,000 shares, etc. So you have to think about that here too. Same thing where, as much as it can go up, and then it has that much more room to then crack back down.
Turns finally cracking that VWAP. I think you were looking at that earlier or maybe yesterday. TRN. Yeah, look, cracking this VWAP. That's day 2 leg on up, and it's kind of volume is slowing down here. So that one's getting my attention right now. It's up from $8 on Friday to about 18 right now.
Yeah.
Just monitoring that on this VWAP crack.
Yep. Ruby right to the target. Look at it coming back up and tapping here. So this is what you're waiting for. You wait for Robinhood. Yeah, Robinhood. And again, you have the TTP. I thought you got the 5K eval, James. What are you doing with that? I'd be doing that. And honestly, at first, you don't want to be doing across the board, like going long, going short. You have to. If you're going long, just stay going long. Find your edge going long. It's there. It's hard to go back and forth at all, between the two.
Yeah.
And then usually, well, Paula, that's why you wait for the second halt down, Paula. I've been doing this long enough to let you know this is what you're waiting for, right? You wait for the reset. So again, 3 halts up, then you reset because you halt down, then you halt back up again. So now I'm just waiting for the second halt down, right? And usually then it takes you back under the reset trash area, which this case it does. And you're also below where you halted up earlier. This ends up being a gorgeous, entry. Or again, take the taps. There's a short, right? And then you're right back on down. And this is what you're waiting for. It's that second flush and halt down. Again, it's all about rhyme and rhythm of what the play is doing. When you're getting 3 up, what are you doing on the 3 up? Well, you're giving good gaps, good gap, right? Decent size. We see way bigger gap ups. But within the gap ups, you're also tapping. So now to me, you're running as much as you can in a halty play, technically sound. So then on the way down, you're going to expect to see the same thing. When you finally get that, 3 halts down to happen as you have 3 halts up, usually this is what plays with no news. This plays with news, yes, they can be more bullish, go 4 halts up, 5 halt, whatever. Plays with no news, this is what you're going to get, I would say 7 out of 10 times, maybe even more, when they go up and they just come straight back on down with the gaps and halts. So you're going to go back and pay attention. What do? We're not only getting gaps, but we're getting taps. Gaps and taps, baby. I need to call that's a new strategy. That'll be a t-shirt. Gaps and taps.
Yeah.
Gaps and taps, baby. Gaps and taps.
Yeah, it's gonna be challenging for Ruby to reclaim any of these levels after this sell off. So we can monitor it, guys, here for any kind of a pop.
Yep. And then see, now we get this, and when we, in my opinion, with Ruby, when you kind of lull out here for 3, 4, 5 minutes, to me, it kind of resets overall. And then watch, now we could start doing halts up again, and so it kind of resets the process on these weird random. You kind of find a rhythm in a trade area to find in within it, but these are definitely harder to trade. Market makers are manipulation. It's not easy. This is. You're looking at what Michael Nosh, you're looking at Money Mitch, you're looking at what Kevin typically trades. Does the chart look like this? No. It doesn't. Not most times ever. So just understand that. I'll try to tell traders that too, where I'll be doing, say I do the one-on-ones, and we're hitting a session right now where there's not a lot of great setups, in my opinion. So there's not a lot of heavy trades to be had here recently. So when I have a lot of traders I do one-on-ones with, and they have 20, 30 trades in a day or whatever, they have a lot. They're over trading. I'm like, well, take it with a grain of salt with what, other mentors that you may follow do. How many trades are they taking in a day? If it's a lot, then okay, there's probably a lot of setups to be had. But if there's not a lot of setups, and you're to watch the people you're watching, they're not really trading heavily, or they're not getting a lot of trades in, or they're not going big share size, you should then go, well, I shouldn't be trading a lot. I shouldn't be going big share size. I don't think a lot of traders do that, unfortunately, and kind of think around the clock and go, okay, well, what are they doing? And maybe they've been doing this for a while and they kind of know what they're doing. Maybe I should follow in suit versus I've been going huge and trading a lot. Well, they're not. A lot of people I see are going smaller and not trading heavy recently. Well, maybe you don't want to trade, obviously heavy and trade a lot. And you got to
Yeah,
rank.
It's a lot to figure out early on. It's a lot to figure out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that Paula back up to that 2280, 2385. It's a 2285 to 2315-ish mark, even a little bit higher than 23 possibly for a reversal. One thing I noticed, though, on the play with CIFR would be kind of like right here. I don't know if the trade's going to work out that great. Volume's dying out. So is turn really going to get more of a reversal? Is it going to turn over? CIFR, is it going to have enough volume to actually, as it's dying off here slowly but surely, you can see the downtrend overall in the volume for the day. And as this is popping back on up, is it going to get enough volume to even get there? It's just stuff, I'm just thinking about as we get to this point in the day, essentially.
I think Ruby against 150 is actually fairly interesting here. Any pop up towards there, it's going to have long stuck in it up, from 150 up. So monitoring Ruby against those levels.
Ruby in the sky with diamonds. That song just stuck in my head. And it's not, Ruby. I know it's Lucy, but I don't know why I'm just saying Ruby. It's not even really close to Lucy, but it's coming to my head. Yeah, it is kind of turning into little head and shoulders. I even see a ghostly head and shoulders, which I call them ghostly head and shoulders here. I'll put this on the 1 minute time frame, makes it a little bit more clean cut so you can see it. Well, no, 3 was probably the best. I have it on the 3 minute over here. Hello, Eleanor. Right here would be the little ghostly head and shoulder. So we have the shoulder, the head, and the shoulder. So to me, the uptrend channel would have been somewhere right around like right there-ish, right? And you can kind of see, it's not great, I know, but you can see shoulder, there's the head, and there's the shoulder, and there's your uptrend channel crack with it. Now, again, the true shoulder is all the way down to here, and you can see a little bit of what I'm trying to call this a shoulder right there. And so you get shoulder, head, shoulder already formed within that uptrend channel, in my opinion. And then, now you're kind of forming one overall if you go to a larger time frame, more horizontal out to the right here. But a little bit of an uptrend. I call it the ghostly head and shoulder because it's on the tilt there, a little bit on a tilt.
Yeah, there was Ruby, guys. Even the Magic 20s down there. But yeah, there's still opportunity on it. It started at 80 cents. This thing's just giving it all up. No news offering in September.
Yeah, right.
Probably what happened is similar to CAPT. This is why I like these penny plays, guys. Look at this. 90 cents down to 65. FOMO is like the most potent of the fears. And so you get newer traders who buy in. They have the fear of missing out. So they want to buy. The tendency is to buy high and hope higher. I don't want to miss out on this move. And it's primarily a short seller. I like to let's say just recognize that emotion and short high, buy low, rather than buy high and hope higher. Much prefer shorting high, buying low. Tap the 200 perfectly here on CAPT, but their news was they announced that they got an extension from the NASDAQ to regain compliance until December 31st. Again, that's the bid price rule with these dollar tickers. You got to be over $1 for 6 months consecutively, or you're gonna get boom, you're gonna get taken off. Pow. Take you
Bow.
off. HTZ, no, as that one curled up, took that one off. Let's see what she's doing right now. HTZ still having trouble at 7, but this one's a manipulated ticker. Look, it cracks under. It just almost feels like it's accumulating more shorts. Again, heavy short interest here, 18%. Now it's kind of basing out over the 674.5 line and starting its stair-step nature again. It's not terrible against certain risk levels, but you got to really stick with them because these can get away from you with the high short interest. So 7, for example, I wouldn't want this over 7 at this point if you're looking for a short. So my stop would be more probably along the lines of right under 7, because if it breaks over 7, there's a million shares of stops there that is going to send this thing up to 7, 15, 20. So either wait for that to happen, the liquidity move over 7, or stop out like just shy of that 7.
Right. And another thing goes back to that too, that volume. That volume is huge for me, and how slowly but surely we're kind of half-ish now, kind of moving into a third of what volume we had there in the first hour of the day. And a lot of that I've noticed just when you get to what I called pre-lunch. We have East Coast at 11:30, here in Central Time Zone 10:30. You're talking Houston, Dallas, Chicago, Nashville, Miami, New York. I can go through all Charlotte. There's all Indianapolis, Detroit, Cleveland. It's a lot of population here in the Central to East time zone that are trading stocks. Heavy. Then you got to think about people that may be trading the American market over in Europe, which I have a lot of people that are in Ireland, Scotland, that are literally, I just was talking to someone on my Discord, Big Mart. He's over in Scotland. They're now getting to dinner time, right? So if not, you're not only have people going to dinner, now you've got people going to lunch. You've got people leaving the market. So what's that mean? Choppiness. Less volume equals choppy results. That just noticed this throughout the years. I mean, going back to when I first started at any of the rooms I were ever in, if they had a lobby up all day, I'll never forget. It was almost like it was who was going to be first to say, it's lunchtime, don't trade, or, something along those lines. It could be more of an elaborate, longer message, but hey, it's lunch. Just remember, take a break, don't trade. This is a time you don't want to usually be trading. This is why, the chat's slow right now. And this is where we really start moving into that with that lower volume profile, so to speak.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea maybe to have leftovers on, during that time period. But you were, yeah. So as far as longs, those rooms were probably very, were long biased, right? So it's like you need the momentum, and you're not going to have them. You're not going to have them at lunchtime, likely.
Yeah. Boy, haven't you seen these so much? Of course. Go back and let's see here. Put mine back on. If I don't add mine back, I want to go just show you these. Did you see and catch? I mean, they're usually. This one was a little bit closer, and this one was right when I got in the chat, but I missed it. How many of these we're seeing? STKH. Look at this straight up move, straight down move right there. Go over to SAG-T. SAG-T, another one. It did give you a couple opportunities there, but then it was right back on down again. We've got HTOO. Another one of these plays here. It's right before I'm getting it, and then we have another one, Ardle. I think there was other ones this morning that I'm not bringing up here. I'm sure there were, but Ardle, yet another one that I missed here because they're so fast. If you got to catch them right out of the gate, they're right up, and boy, they're right back on down before you can blink an eye. We're getting a lot of these here in pre-market, and then they just die out. And then you go back to actually yesterday's, and I think it spiked up a little bit more and then longer, possibly, but Thar did the same thing there. Into the opening bell, and then she looked right back on down and just flat.
You're on it. Yeah, so pre-market, there's a lot of traders in over at the Green Team who utilize a pre-market strategy where at 4 a.m. they're looking for that action. So with pre-market, you're getting more straight up, straight down moves because A, you don't have there's less competition. B, the high frequency trading isn't turned on. They're not going to risk all that pre-market illiquidity. Essentially, there's illiquidity, and then C, the most brokerages out there are not going to allow you to utilize stop orders in pre-market after hours. So what that's going to create is more of those just straight up, straight down moves. And then again, once the market, like the 9:30, sometimes you get so much chop, and I know you guys in chat know this. It can be frustrating with some of these plays. Just think of last week. It was, oh God, what ticker was it? I know BYND was that way as well. Last week there were several tickers doing the same thing, where it's just there's so much chop. You get the choppy action, just up, down, up, down, up, down, and then liquidity sweep up, liquidity sweep down. It becomes impossible to trade. It's almost like a market maker's dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
VC was one. VC was one last week that they halted like 80 times. That was another market maker's dream. VC from last week did that as well, where you see that and it just bounces around. What's up, Big Mart? There he is. What's up, Big Mart? What's for dinner? Said in that, yeah, there he is. See, there he is showing up. Got the guy all the way in. But this is what I'm talking about, where you get guys, and it's that time period where people are moving to food, really, essentially, is all it is, or doing something else, whether it's over in Europe, you got people eating dinner or going to bed. They're moving away from trading for the day. Less traders, essentially, is what you're seeing. They're moving away from trading and they're doing something else. Got G Delcor. What's up, Giovanni? Morning, guys. Question with lunch trading theory. Wouldn't that mean that the shorts are better because traders are getting out of their? But that's also you got to think about. But you got to have volume, and that's what I was saying. Even going back over here to turn, if you have no volume, it doesn't mean that doesn't mean people are shorting. You got to have volume to short. You got to have people to want to short, and that when the volume decays, trades don't really decay. Volume is still there. I mean, if you go back to sell-offs, if I could show you, like even here, like here's a sell-off, going over to Ruby in the sky with diamonds, there's volume while it's selling, then moving. When you get this volume to die down, and even right here, which we're getting on Hertz is talking about it, just because we have low volume doesn't mean we're going to sell off. It just means that there's no one truly trading the ticker. So if we have no one truly trading the ticker, then what do you think? Then you got to think about that. Then why is that? Well, there's no one trading it, so it's not moving. It's not going to go up that much. It's not going to go down that much. Generally, most of the time. Yes, there are instances, and I think they're more of a it's more of a like Kevin's strategy with the hangover plays. So you're seeing the hangovers work because why? Traders are moving away from those plays over the next day. So people are taking profits because that's a different thing. They're actually selling. Let me get rid of this. I just need to get rid of it. I'm done here with this ticker versus it's in the middle of the day, it's 3 hours in, and there's just no volume. That's different when you're 3 hours in. It's lunchtime.
Think of Turn right now. Turn, like, volume's kind of weakened out, and look at it kind of bleeding. So it's not bad to leave leftovers on.
Yeah,
there was actually one funded trader with Trade the Poll. I watched his interview, and this thing's selling off right now. And he said he's more short biased. So he said he lets the longs have it. He lets the Warriors have it at the start of the day. He approaches the market around now and looks at what plays had all the euphoria. Now I'm going to take my short, and he got funded off of doing that. So there's certainly potential with it. But as Josh said, yeah, you gotta have some volume, which in the case of Turn right now, for example, is profit taking. So there's less like momentum on it, and it's mainly just guys that are similar to the hangovers, as you said.
Yeah. Hangovers, baby, loving it. That's a thing too. Just mentality. Traders are moving away from one trade for just because there's lack of it moving up, and so they just sell off. Then so it's just one of those things where, like you were saying, it's usually nice to have that. And is there a good entry? Sometimes no. You could, because this is it. You just get profit taken. Stop losses are getting hit right now. You can the big time. That for these kind of jolty moves, 3, 4, 5 cents out of nowhere, which we weren't doing before. So that's where you get that movement. Now, where do you enter? That's the thing. Well, usually it'd be because it's a hangover. You're finding the entry earlier, maybe on the move back on up, about an hour ago now when it was hitting that, say 1830 mark, finding a reversal there, versus like now you're trying to get in on this little liquidation sweep on the way down and stop losses, profit taking happening. It's not as good because it's such a huge sell off. And now you're bouncing right back on it because what? People are now, it's a good dip buy, because you just got down a little bit further. So that's why it's always better to be in this, whether you went in for reversal up top, you were in it earlier, and you're just letting this play bleed out and letting it be a hangover and just holding on to your piece for sure. And yes, you got it. You're good, G. Kelly. Yeah. You're good, G. Delcor. You're good. Asking now because I'm looking at Apple and the 271 level, which it was this morning. Hertz is blasting off. Yeah, Hertz there. Here it comes up, popping up here. Big volume break too as well. But Apple, let's see here. Let's see. Asking because we're looking at the 271 mark. Gotcha. So if you're looking at this mark, it's a little bit different for Apple because of the volume burst. So you can see this huge U shape in volume, and now we're back up to pre-market. I say pre-market, but opening bell levels. Now you're not going to have a candle this big until the very last candle of the day. We know that in large cap plays. You can just go back to yesterday, and I can prove my point here. The biggest two candles of the day are the very last and the very first candle, and usually it's the very last one. Every day in large capville, you can go across the board, the very last candle of the day, and you can see it there. Well, that one's actually in after hours, but it's right there, that huge sell-off. We always get that every day. But anyway, so point being, whoopsies, didn't even create a new scene. But I like large caps and attacking them throughout the day. That really would be more so. That's why Kevin even said it's more for small caps. Small caps and going long, that whole, hey, it's lunchtime, watch for pre-lunch movement. Large caps can still, depending on the day, have still decent movement, solid movement through lunch. Now, I guess I would say yes, generally across the board, there are going to be less traders, in my opinion, maybe over the next 2 to 3 hours. At least we'll just call it the next two. Going to power hour, and that's why they call it power hour, right? So there's usually, yes, I would say about a 2 hour stretch where we kind of slow down and there's less traders in the stock market. But that doesn't mean A, that's every day, and B, definitely for more so for large caps can be kind of the asterisk where, of course, it's a large cap play. There's more consistent volume. Where in small cap plays, you can go to Hertz is a good example, and you can see this huge downtrend volume and break right here. So these are the downtrend, the lower lows along the way, and then boom, we get this huge burst. So thus what we get our, what comes with these candles, 20 cents, maybe 30 cents at most. Not a lot, but we're getting that. But this is what I mean by, and usually generally, Hertz is different, had earnings today. I even talked about this with earnings real quickly. If, say, Ruby in the sky here comes out with earnings tomorrow or the next day, it may pop up in pre-market, but I'm going to promise you on my bottom dollar that it's going to fail and come right back on down before the opening bell. Hertz is different. It's a company we've heard of. I've never heard of RUBI, ever heard of Rubico. I've heard of Hertz. I've paid money to Hertz before. I've had rental cars from Hertz. Okay? I know who Hertz is. This is what I talked about it earlier on the live stream, with you guys.
They will hurt you.
So this is a little bit different play, but overall, my point being, you can generally say if Hertz and Ruby had earnings, you would see the usual just slow death decay in the volume to where it kind of, goes to nothing. That's most small cap plays for sure. So that's where I would say that's where my theory would come in with that whole, hey, be careful. Hey, don't trade here at lunch. There's a lot less volume and choppier movement could be seen. That's usually definitely more so for small caps. Tory, though, thank you for Hertz. Hertz is getting a little pop here. And Apple still getting, again, that's the volume. We're always talking about the volume profile is so huge for me. What are we doing? Are we consistent? Are we downtrending? Are we even like this? Are we now all of a sudden U-shaping, breaking the downtrend in volume, and now U-shaping where we're really plowing back up top for a while? Is it inconsistent and kind of trappy here like Hertz is, where we're up, then we're down, but we're still sideways, and there's this huge sell-off, but only to reclaim, this small little uptrend channel that we were on earlier, then to decay here to just squeeze up and squeeze more shorts out. This is why, again, you have to be careful shorting Hertz. I like the 735, 750 mark the most. You can start stabbing at it, and Kevin's little magical 20. But this is a play with the bigger float with earnings. It's not a typical let's short the top small cap ticker for sure. At least in my opinion, when you have these larger float plays. What is, real quickly, do you know off the top of your head what the float is on Hertz?
HTZ, roughly 300 million.
That's what I thought. I thought it was a big sucker.
Roughly 300 million with a 20% short interest. I do like it. Starting with feelers, up against those levels like Josh mentioned, 730, 40, 50. But it's not one I'm gonna, be throwing tons of risk at. But I want to see what it's going to do here against the 720s. It's this holding this. If it doesn't hold the 7 here, then that likely could be that 710 area could be the high, but it's got. I went back and looked past chart history because we want to see relative to this volume what like the other days that it has how many points can it move with this similar level of volume. I was taking a look. I have a relative volume standard deviation which kind of shows that, and the chart tells me back in April it pretty much put in about this much right here about take a look at that candle. 430 up towards about $6. So yeah, a few points it can put in with this level of volume. So we'll monitor it against these 750s. And also, I mean, we do have in the 750s, if we look in the past chart history, we got some bags up in here, guys. We got some guys that were buying this diamond hand style, putting their space boots on to go to the moon, that are just praying this thing curls back around. They were just, Josh, they were looking for a quick scalp, and then they turned into a long-term investor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hey, I've been there before, like I said, I don't know how long I did that one play, but yeah, I did that once, and that was never again. Luckily, I did learn the lesson. Some people continue to do it. I learned once, and I was like, wow, that was not fun to lose $1,000, because I didn't hold until, which would have been, and it finally did go back to where I would have, where it finally broke over where I bought in and went into the green, and I would have made some money for sure. But it
Learned
was
the wrong lesson, though.
Yeah, 4 years of it. I think it was like 2020 when, and now it's not even a ticker anymore. Didn't change names or nothing. They're just, I forgot what exactly happened to NAKD. I'd have to look it up anymore. But anywho, maybe they did merge with Bendon. I don't know. And maybe it's a different ticker name now. I don't know. But yeah, wasn't holding from 2017. I think that was early 2017 when I bought it. I can't remember how many months I held that till I finally said, okay, this is just dumb. But that was only a few months for me. Now, maybe, and I can't remember, may have been longer than a few months, but still, it wasn't more than like years, where you're holding it for 3, 4. And I would have had to hold that for, and again, that tied up at first, a third to sometimes half of my account, depending on, how much I was, down or, on the play essentially. So I didn't get to really trade that much because I didn't have the capital, because I'm tied up into this other ticker. So yeah, it's just not a really smart thing to do early on.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I've had traders say that they try to hear my voice before they take a trade, saying predefine the risk. Before you even enter, just know where your exit level is and define it. I know there's controversy on, mental stops versus stop losses, but I'm going to say, especially after PRLD and pre-market this morning, I preach hard stops. I mean, that's where I think that's what saves a lot of traders, hard stops. I know there's differences of opinion, but at least when you're starting out, just throw the hard stops on. Maybe you can move towards mental as you gain experience over time, but the mental stops, that a lot of traders, they don't respect them. They just don't, or the ticker will blow out past your level so quickly that there's nothing you can do about it. And then when you wanted to risk $100, now you're down like 400, and you're like, well, at this point, I might as well just blow up my account. And so it's bad news. It's bad news.
Bad news bears, baby. Bad news bears. And I'm not looking down at this. Is funny. So this just shows you I love my pack here, bro. So check this out. So right down here. Oh, he just popped his head up. Wow. My cat's head was tucked underneath my pit bull's head. This is a cat and a pit bull. Two complete different times we got him off the streets of Dallas. But these are definitely rescue dogs truly off the streets of Dallas there, laying together in complete harmony. I was like, oh my gosh, is he really? And look at him just down there. Look at him in heaven, just laying on Pete. He's like, man, you're so warm. Warm. I mean, look at this. Look at the dogs just in heaven, just living in heaven over here. Just dog cities, just laying around. Nothing but, I remember when I first got this office going, I was like, for whatever reason, I don't remember when this started, but there were no dog beds on the floor. Now you can't, it's like there's no room to walk around when I'm going live. I got to put beds all on the floor in here. I mean, there's literally like, it's all this floor is dog beds that are, there's, of course I got plenty of stuff in my office, but I get like the memories of, on this day, like on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. I'm like, oh, wow. Used to have so much room in that office, and now it's just nothing but beds and dogs.
Yeah, I'm sure it's helps you. If you're having a red day and you're in that office room right there, I mean, how can you be upset?
Oh God, yeah, you love it. And then back to you real quickly. I want to chime in on that. Yeah, I am one of the few and far between that does mental stops. Always have. You better have hard stops in. I've just been good, and I've gotten that before from traders. Like, man, you are the most. How do I do? I'm very disciplined at what I do. If you are, and I in my one-on-ones and teach and preach, you better put your stop losses in like you said, predetermine it. So many traders enter a trade without a plan, and I don't really understand how you can enter a trade without having a stop loss already defined of going, this is where I'm going to get out. I can't let it go any lower or any higher than this. So if you're going long or short, whatever. You got to have that.
New traders see profit. Professional traders see risk. New traders see profit. That's the difference. For the professional, we see risk, and what does risk mean? Risk says more things can happen than will happen, and we recognize that, and we're thinking over a distribution of trades, not on an individual trade by trade basis. That's the main difference. The edge plays out over time, not on individual setups. And I see a lot of traders, they focus too much on one trade, and then the one trade doesn't work, and it just does way too much damage than it should. But as far as the trails go, Paula, trailing stops are great. I started just utilizing mainly hard stops for even leftovers because the trails are a little tricky. They're useful in maximizing your winners, right? But the trail is gonna trail with the ticker. So for me, I short, and so my trailing stop is gonna trail down, as the ticker moves down. But a lot of times I was getting kind of stopped at levels that were aggravating because you're getting stopped as the ticker like pops up and then it keeps fading. So ideally, they're a little tricky to figure out, per different priced stock. So for HTZ, for example, setting a trail on this, you might need like 50-60 cent trail. Otherwise, you're just going to get stopped out at unfavorable levels. As the ticker may unwind, like if it unwinds off of the 710, 720. So trails are useful, but you just got it. They can be tricky. What are your thoughts, Mr. Josh, on the trails?
Yeah, I like them. I mean, yeah, they're good, effective. I mean, especially if it's one of those things. If you're a busy person, you got to leave. You're maybe around the house, or you do have another job at your house, or you take phone calls, or you have kids, or whatever the case may be. Trailing stop's always good if you have to step away, or if that's just one of those things you want to move to for yourself because you have a hard time maybe defining where you should move your stop loss to. So you're like, I'm just going to let it trail by 20 cents or whatever it is, 30 cents. Once I get in the green and take profit, I think that's always a good thing to do, especially once you move into the green. You don't really, maybe want to stare at, which a lot of traders that I work with do one-on-ones with. Boy, and I did it first. You want to sit here from 5 a.m. all the way till 4 p.m. in the whatever. You're here for 10, 12 hours and just glued to the screen. Your eyes are glaring red. Next thing you know, you've been doing this for 6 months, haven't really learned or gained a thing, and you're burnt out. You're like, man, I love this, but I'm not learning anything. And you start to get pissed off, and the emotions start kicking in because you're not learning anything, but you're here all day. You don't need to be doing that. Is terrible for you. You don't need to sit here all day long. And again, going back to James, which is so funny. So this zone's a lot like Ruby in the Sky with diamonds here, James. So when you see this no news most likely play, which I guarantee you has no news, it doesn't, comes up out of nowhere. It's a pump and dump. They call it pump and dumps for a reason. It's going to go up and it's going to come right back on down. Never, ever, ever is this a good long situation. Now, if you're a really good scalper and you can somehow read volume profile, et cetera, or whatever it is you're using there, got it. Otherwise, this is never a good long. Really just not a good trade overall. You just leave them alone. But like yourself, whether it's you've had a bad day or you haven't traded at all, now you're starting to force. You got to do something right. I've got to do something. No, you don't. No, you don't. You can just listen to us and then just soak in what I'm saying and what Kevin's saying and then enjoy the day. But so many have to. Again, like I say, JG Wentworth commercial. It's my money. I need it now. This isn't an ATM. This isn't, I'm going to trade and I'm going to make money. Like Nos said, you might get something at first that you have 50%. I had me and Bounce Plays, and what Nos was showing you earlier, I had about a 60% win rate with that. When I first figured it out, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. I can work with this. And so I just worked with that, and I realized I could rinse and repeat that every day. But it's just one of those things where, yourself, you've got to realize that.
Get rid of the emotions, Paul, as much as possible. HTZ is interesting. It's the highs right here. Just FYI, quick little alert there. But it's if Mr. Mark Douglas said this, and this is one of the most important things for you. If you can create a state of mind that's unaffected by what the market does, the struggle is going to cease to exist ultimately. Now, how can you get to the place where the market's not going to, what the market does doesn't matter to you? That is if you set hard stops, if you set trails. You've seen me in here where I've had 8 trades on and I'm unaffected by them because all the stops are set. I take the edge. I let the trades work out, and so letting the winners maximize and the losers, I have the stops there. So rigid with the rules, flexible on the profit expectation side. And the more you do that, the more it's going to have less effect on you personally and your emotions, so that you can really let these charts just play out to the. And so if that's setting the trails, setting the hard stops, setting whatever, just OCO orders, one cancels the other. So you got your so on the profit side, even you got a target there, you got the stop in, everything. You just want to make it as systematic, really, as you can to take the emotions away. So therefore, you're eliminated from the picture. I take the edge. Now I step away. I set the orders out there. I'm no longer involved in this trade, so I can't mess it up. Because the times I take the worst trades, Josh, are the times that I involve myself, after the fact. I take the edge and I'm like, ooh, well, actually, this is spiking up even further to levels that I like. Let me just keep increasing my risk here, to that effect, versus the original predefined idea of the trade. Adjusting at mid-trade's never a good idea.
JG Wentworth, 877
cash now.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get it really in James' head. And James said it's in his head. Yeah, but that's me. I was always recommend that to stock traders early on when they first start trading. It is 100% that. And I get it. You feel like you got to be doing something. Again, that's what our brains are trained to do. You got to think about when you wake up as a kid. You wake up, you got to have your breakfast, get ready for school, and then you're at school, and then there's homework. Then there's video games, but it's always I'm doing something, right? It's like but it's school. I wake up, I go to school. I got to be doing. You're doing something. You're learning at school. You're doing homework. You're doing tests and quizzes in school. You're always then you graduate. Then whether you go to college, right? Still doing stuff. Got to get a job. Still doing stuff. In your 30s, you go to job. You work a 9 to 5. And then what are you doing then once you move to that 9 to 5? What are you doing? Or even in high school or college, like me, I had 3 jobs at once in college or in high school. I don't know. It was kind of funny when I think back. I'm like, I didn't have to have all these jobs. Why did I have to? I had the guy, but I had 3 jobs at once. 2 usually. I worked at a mean barbecue, and I was a cart boy at a golf course on the weekends. But for one semester, I went and picked up. I remember there was a person my dad worked with. He couldn't pick up his kids every day, so they were like, "Could you go do it for a semester? I can't do it." I'm like, "Heck yeah, you can pay. I'll pick your kids up." That's it's like extra money for me. When you're in high school, you're like, "Heck yeah, all this money." Because you don't have bills, and so you get all this extra money to spend on stuff you want, which was awesome. But then that's the thing: you get older and you have bills, right? You got to pay bills. It's always something. So when you get in the stock market, like any job I've had right before I even had this, whether I clocked in and actually did the little clocking in part, or it was done on the phone, whatever. Like Cumulus was done on my phone, everything was done through, but an app or whatever. You're always doing something. You go to work and you're doing something. It's not. I've got to sit back and soak stuff in and learn. It's almost like going to study hall. Like going to the library. That wasn't fun. No offense, but for most people, going to the library when you're in college or high school, going to study hall was not what most people wanted to do, right? And so that's what the stock market is. You have to treat it like study hall and the library every single day. And you got to get the books out off the shelf and learn about the charts and the setups, and then go back and get that same book out the next day, and get that same book out the next day, and get that same book out the next week, and get that same book out the next month, and get that same book out. You're still, over and over and over till you're learning it until it's ingrained in your brain. Then things are going to shift around. You're going to go in one day in the library and all the books are in different spots. And you're like, damn it, I just learned this thing and I really got it going good. And now the market shifts. You have to adapt and adjust. Okay, well, where are those books at that I was just reading every single day at? And there's no little librarian there to help you out. You've got to go through that whole entire library to figure it out. And then the better you get, the faster you can figure it out. Then you start learning, okay, this is where I trade now. Kind of like me. And again, how I've had to adapt and adjust. And we have a lot of big reversals lately. Shorting the tops. Reversals. I'm reverting back to bounce plays again. Trend line shelf cracks really aren't forming. And when they form, they don't work. Again, what we just saw earlier on Hertz and that liquidation sweep down and back up. That's what's happening here recently a lot more. A little more bullish mentality. I'm waiting for the setup. Hangover plays to work and wait for that second day, third day to crack back on down. So that's it to me. It seems like, and traders don't want the library. They don't want that analogy. They don't want to go in and learn every day. And it's a slow thing where I clock in, but I didn't learn. Learn a lot. That's a lot of that at first too. You don't feel like you're learning, right? And not making money on top of the fact that if anything, losing money because you hopefully, should be at trade the pool and only lost a little bit for the eval. But let's go to a broker at first. And so they're really giving back money, and as we call intuition, the stock market. So here you are going to college to learn stocks, so to speak, and you have to go to the library or study hall every day, and have to go learn and soak everything in by yourself, right? Because it's so quiet, because you're there in your house, in your office by yourself, and you want to go. I want to trade. I want to learn. I want to be in class. Come on, teacher, let's go. And you think, okay, yeah, I'll go to class. No. It's going to the library and it's going to the study hall for 3-4 years straight, reading those same books over and over and over. And then it's finding the books you like to read. Like me as a kid, I didn't like to read, but there were some books every once in a while that catch my eye. And I wanted to finish. I was like, oh, this is actually kind of like this. And there are some people that just love to read books. But for the most part, it's kind of like, again, like I always say, you go to the bar, you're trying to find that gorgeous woman. Who's that one? The one you want to take home every night. That's how it should be in the stock market. But it takes a little while, if not years, to figure out who that one is that you want to date, so to speak, day in, day out. I need a good charting class. Any YouTube recommendations? James, are you kidding me? Heck to the yeah. On my YouTube here, and I'll put it out there, I have a 3-part charting lesson that I did last year. So let's go to my charting. Here we go. And here's the link to that. I have multiple charting lessons, but I have part 1, part 2, part 3. It's a little over an hour long for all 3 of them. I suggest starting with the first one, watching it as many times as you can, then watching the second one. And then again, watching it till you get it. So watch the first one until it's starting to click. Then watch the second one, and then watch the third one. But there's my link there. So click on that and go straight to what it'll pull up is this right here, where I've already done the search for you. Charting. This is my YouTube. Subscribe, please do. And this is part 1, part 2, part 3. How to read past chart history. Quick stock trading lessons. How to create a stop loss. Right, here we go. Create a target. Candlestick confirmation. Come on, guys. We got a lot of good info over here. So go over to my YouTube. And again, you're looking for bounce plays. Bounce. Right? You're looking for support. You're looking for short. Right? It's there. Go to that little search bar and search her up and search her out. And there you go. Let's see.
Yeah.
Think you got.
We've been doing this for a long time, guys. Yeah, on my channel, dude, I got 1,000 videos, I think, over there now. Doing this for
Right? Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
search.
I've done
Just
that
go to the
before.
search tab. Just go to the search tab and type whatever you want in there, and it'll be there. It'll be there.
Yep. No, that's what I always say. Yeah, for sure, 100%. Yeah, it's the one thing I'm like, yeah, it's.
Yeah,
just
then we
go.
got the small caps coming out, which are going to be organized in the VOD on Trade the Pool. So you're not going to have to scrub through Josh and I's channel. It's going to be all right there for you guys. Small cap series where we do some charting. We go over some charting on that as well. And we'll update you guys as that's approaching. But right now, guys, yeah, HTZ Hertz still hanging up there, 18% short interest, touching 7 right now. Outside of that, just make sure, traders, that even on these days where the market's 35 miles per hour, you're not pushing 75. It's going to define you. It's going to define your trading journey for sure. Because
I was going to say, listen, yeah, no, you're all over, bro. I love the information you're giving. It's like, and that's why I say we're like, go back to the live stream on Friday that we did. Of course, thank you again for coming on Friday, my man, on Halloween.
Let's do it again.
Dude, that was awesome. Such good information. I'm going to post that too as well. So for whatever reason, because I left it going, bro, I left it going all night long, all night long to build up views. Because, people will pop in like 8, 9, 10 o'clock because it's a live stream, stock trading, right? And I got it was up for 27 hours. I came in the next morning. I forgot to cut it off the night before because I usually will cut it off, like sometime that night. Yeah. I forgot to cut it off Friday night. I left it going. It for whatever reason is not showing on my live stream. So you'll go over there and you'll click on it. And it says unavailable to watch. And when I go to my YouTube creator page, it says processing to YouTube.
Yeah, that's going to take a while. Yeah.
Yeah, 27 hours. Yeah. So I luckily recorded that. So everyone, again, that's out there, James, Derek, Mal, who was it there that was just alerting there in chat? I know we have a lot of people in chat today. Tori, but James, Paula, that not only that 8-part series that me and Kevin did, which is they're all about 30 minutes long. Those are going to be an 8-part series. So that'll be, 3+ hours, 4 hours or so of awesome information. Go to our YouTube pages, the link I just put, of course. Go over to Kevin's as well. A lot of good information. That charting right there is how I chart small caps and large caps. Also, not only how to chart small caps and large caps, I give you then 3 perspectives. If you just come into pre-market, how to chart. If you come in an hour after the opening bell, how to chart. If you're coming in at the end of the day, what you should be doing and going back over trades and charting. So make sure to take advantage of that. And then I'll post this week and I'll tag Trade the Pool here. Of course, hopefully they'll share it on their social media, Instagram, etc. But on my YouTube, and I'll make sure to share that link on Thursday. And whenever I have that done, I will upload not only CR Traders interview, but of course that roundtable that I had with Kevin Avery and a couple of other awesome traders. Such good information there. So what we're saying, we're essentially saying the same words, just in different verbiage, but we're teaching and preaching the same stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
On this too is hilarious. So you can also go all the way back and check out when I was a little baby and my college. Look at this here, my demo reel before I got on TV here. Check out baby Josh right here. Check him out. Back in the college days, talking sports. Look at the spiky hair, talking the control board, hosting the show here. Oh yeah, check him out. This is the good old days right here. Talking with Pat Bradley. Where's old Patty Cakes? He played for. He's on actually. This guy's on SEC Network. So Pat Bradley, you'll see him on ESPN, SEC Network. He played for the Razorbacks, but it is on the SEC Network during the basketball scene. So you'll see this guy, old Pat Bradley. Pat Bradley.
That's like your highlight reel right there.
You get it all. You get it all over on my YouTube, and of course the live stream here, the dual stream that I did there with Kevin Avery is on my videos that I posted there. So, and of course, then my live stream here, what we had, of course, from previous times. So take advantage. I mean, Kevin's got his, I've got mine. Plenty of videos on our YouTube. Oh, and call-in show on Thursday. I know last Thursday you couldn't join us. We're going to do same topic from last Thursday that we were talking about this Thursday, possibly.
Yeah, same topic. We're going to meet tomorrow. We're going to sharpen up some of the corners there on the stream, and then Thursday we're going to be going for it. So we got an exciting topic for you guys. Make sure you get your phones warmed up and ready to call in Thursday. Around this time on Thursday, we're going to be doing the call-in show. It's a great time. Always enjoy doing those. Great callers, always. And traders eager to learn. So it doesn't matter your experience level, guys. We love clearly hearing from you. We love hearing from you, talking trading, and adding value to the other traders. And you guys do that. There are valuable conversations that we're having in here that are beneficial to not only you, but the other traders in here. So we're excited for it and excited for this opportunity for you to learn at Trade the Pool. Trade the Pool has got everything. It's the whole package, right? You're going to learn not only how to trade with the prop firm, you're going to learn with their VOD, with the mentors in this space right here, and then, of course, with the call-in show. So we're doing everything we can to make sure you guys can become the traders that you're going to one day be.
Yep. That's it, my man. I mean, that definitely wrap up and end on that for sure. So that's why we're here. Besides giving you good and solid information, Trade the Pool with the capital. Like we were just talking about, how many traders do the hold and hope where they get into a trade and they don't have a stop loss? I mean, here I go. I can raise my hand, right? That way that, this won't happen. You're on a day trading account for a reason. It'll stop you out. That way it's not going to just kill your account or that day itself. Overall can just be a done deal. Boom, you have your stop loss for the day. We set that in for you here at Trade the Pool so you don't blow that eval up. Or, of course, even when you're funded, because that's unfortunately a lot of people early on. Back to the stats that you gave about, the other prop firm there. It's what most humans do. They can't conquer that. And Michael Noss talks about that all the time. And, of course, him and his bots trading for him automated to make the decisions for him. So he has here's where to trade, and it does all the executing for him. So, yeah. Love it, brother.
Yep.
Well, see you on Thursday for the Collins show. And Derek James, Frank, Mr. Leg, there he is, Mr. Leg Ladder. Well, on Saturdays, our ladders are half off. And he's like, oh, yeah, by the way, we're off on Saturdays. We're closed. So that's why our ladders are half off. We're always closed on Saturdays. So people show up for those half-price lighters only to find out leg lighters, that's the day that they're closed. I don't think there's one business in the world that's closed on Saturday. It's like everybody's big sale day, at least retail, when it comes to retail, that is.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys. Embrace the risk, accept the results, per usual. I'm always going to say that. And traders, we'll see you guys, Josh and I, on Thursday. Anything else? Last word over to you, Mr. Josh.
Hey, Ghostly Head and Shoulders. See more of these. I just want to pop this. I forgot about it earlier, but here's another one. So there's your shoulder, there's your head, there's your shoulder, and so you can see kind of that neckline get drawn in there. So look for these more often, team. You're going to see them. I've seen a few of these today, shoulder, head, shoulder. They don't always have to be straight across the board. sometimes you get those little sideways angles, and it's always about finding the trend within the trade. Find the trend within the trade and trade that trend. Until Thursday, for Kevin and myself, have a good one, team.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah.